Hello, Sala. Sorry, I forgot my microphone was still down. Oh, I forgot one more thing. Be right back. Good morning. I'm here. Hello, Ali. There is no topic today, Ali, but thank you for asking. I appreciate the fact that you asked. So when I do my A Friend in Every Corner live stream, this is one live stream where you can ask any questions you have about anything, or if you want to practice talking, you can. You can raise your hand and come on the stage and just chat with me, and that's okay on this live stream. Okay? Hello, Flavia. Good morning. So, thank you for asking, Ali. That's the first thing that people should do when they join a live stream is ask, what's the topic today? So, thank you for that. Hello, Amira. Hello, Sam. Hello, Ria. Flavia wants to know, what is fog? Fog is a kind of weather. It's a weather word. It means when you have, it looks like there are clouds outside on, like, low to the ground, right? When you can't see because it looks like it's very cloudy, but down on the ground, not up in the sky, that's fog. Okay? Hello, Fluke. Good to see you again. Hello, Akane. Hello, Lavi. How's everyone doing today? Hello, Erica. Hello, May. Ah, you read it in a book. Okay. I think the Portuguese word is nevoa. Flavia?
Névoa.
No, nevo. Nevo. Okay, Flavia? Is that right, I believe? What is the meaning of bluff? Well, bluff has two meanings, actually. There's a verb meaning and there's a noun meaning. A bluff as a noun is, it could be a, it's not very often used this way, but it also could be a, like a cliff. A cliff is a bluff, all right? But To bluff is probably the way you've seen it used, and that is like when you're playing cards. You're playing cards like you're playing poker, okay, and you're holding your cards, and you make a big bet. You make a big bet for a lot of money, Alex, but you don't have good cards. Your cards are not good, but you're pretending like they are. That's called bluffing. Okay, to bluff means that you are pretending like you have a better advantage than you really do. Okay, that's a bluff. It's not cheating. No, it's a strategy. If you can convince everybody that you have better cards than you do, then maybe they will fold their cards and you win, even though you don't have a good hand, a good set of cards. Okay? So that can be used not just, it's a gambling term, but it can be used with anything, right? So let's say your kids, if you have kids and they're acting up, they're being bad, okay? You could say to them, well, if you don't act right, then I'm going to take away the TV completely. And you're not going to take away the TV. You're not really going to do that. But if you say that you're going to do it and they believe it, then you bluffed them. Okay? Can you use it as a skill? Well, yeah. Bluffing is a strategy. To bluff is a strategy. So maybe your boss is being really bad. He's not being cool. And you're tired of it. But he needs you. He really needs you. And you say, hey, look, if you don't treat me more nicely, then I'm leaving. I'm quitting. I'm done. But you don't really want to quit. You just want to make sure he understands that you'd be willing to, maybe. But maybe you really don't want to. You really, really don't want to quit. Then that's called bluffing. You're pretending like you want to do something when you really don't. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of like that. To pretend like you have a skill is to bluff. Right. Yeah, it's like misleading. It's a form of misleading, Ria. To get an advantage. To mislead to gain an advantage is probably a better way to describe it. Okay? Hello, Wendy. What's new with me? Well, I will tell everybody that Shadow is doing much better. My dog Shadow has been very, very, very sick for about a week or so, and but he got much, much better over the last few days. So he can walk by himself now, and he's doing a lot better, which is really, really a relief because we thought maybe he was close to the end, but he seems like he's much, much better now. He's not 100% yet, but he's maybe about 75 or 80% better. The word bluff, you mean where it should be French? I'm not sure about that. Let's find out. No, actually, it's American. From 1839, to deceive opponents, especially by betting heavily with a confident air on a worthless hand to make them fold. It's an American-English poker term. Poker, the game poker, was a very popular game in America in the 1800s. Okay, people would go to saloons and play poker. They didn't have TV, so card games were a very popular form of entertainment. Okay? Sala, I'm not sure. I don't understand what you're saying. A new object in the space by what? Huh? I don't understand your question, Sala. And yeah, Ria, bluffing is not cheating. It's not cheating. It's not considered cheating. It's a form of strategy. It's a form of strategy. Okay? It means you're pretending like you have a better advantage than you really do in order to gain something from somebody else. That's not considered cheating. That's considered, we'll call it sly, S-L-Y, or clever. To be sly is to be clever strategically. Thank you, Ivy. Hello, Anshu. Good to see you. Hello, Ahad. I'm pretty good today. Hello, Mustafa. I understand you speak Arabic. There are people who speak every language here. If you want to learn English, then you're in the right place. Okay. How old is Shadow? He's about 14. 14 years old, which is pretty old. Yes, Shadow is his name. So the word for bluff is bluffer in French. Can you see one of his pics? I think I have some posted on my profile. Let me see. Are those on my profile? I think they are. If you go to my first moment, if you go to my first moment in Hello Talk, Erica, you can see a picture of me and Shadow together. Okay, Ria, you want to speak? Okay, give me another minute and I'll get you on the stage here, okay? You have 2 Bichons, okay. 9 and 7. I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. Hello, Jean-Franc. Good to see you, my friend. Is he my shadow? Well, yeah, that's why we call him Shadow, because he follows my mom everywhere she goes. Wherever he walks, she follows behind. So that's why we called him Shadow. Hello, Sophia. Good morning. If you find a new object, its name is relative to what? English or Arabic? Again, Salah, I don't understand what you mean. I really don't understand what you mean, Salah. I'm sorry. A new object. What do you mean, a new object? Salah, why don't you write your question in Arabic and one of my other followers can try to translate it for me so I understand what you're trying to ask me better, okay? I have lots of Arabic speakers here. Hello, Sarah. Good morning, Tanya. Islam, yes, my dog Shadow is doing much, much better now. Thank you for asking. Good morning, Rama. Gunter, hello, Gunter. How are you, my friend? I'm doing not bad today. I got pretty good sleep last night. I feel pretty good, I think. Hello, Isa and Gil. Do I know Brazil? Yes, of course, I know Brazil. Bom dia. I have 64,000 followers around the world. I have followers in every country. I have talked to someone in every place in the world. Hello, Sarah and Zoe. Is Shadow a good name? Yeah, I think so. Any name is a good name. It's not the name that matters, it's the way you act that matters. So, whatever name you choose for yourself is a good name if you make it a good name by being a good person. Okay? Understand? And yes, Alex, when he was very, very, very sick a few days ago, he couldn't walk. He couldn't go out by himself. He couldn't do anything. I had to pick him up and take him outside. And he wasn't eating and he wasn't drinking water. He was very sick. But he's okay now. He seems to be much better. Yeah, there you go. The circus magician amazed the audience with a simple bluff. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And again, Hannah, it's an American word that comes from playing poker, the game poker. Okay, it's a gambling game, right? Where you have cards, right? So maybe if you have really good cards, you don't need to bluff. But if you have bad cards, the cards are not very valuable cards, but you pretend like they're really good, right? So when they give you the cards, you look at your cards and you go like, oh yeah, but you really don't have anything good. That's bluffing. Okay? Can he cause an infection to me? No. No. There are very, very, very few diseases or viruses that can be passed from animals to humans. Very few. And usually they're only in very rare or very wild places. But in America, if you have a dog or a cat, more than likely you take them to the vet and they get shots and they get lots of medicine. So no, they can't give you any diseases or anything. Lots of work changing the furniture in your office. Furniture you can use as just a singular word. Furniture means many. Okay? So furniture is already plural. You don't need an S, Gunter. But I'm glad you're good today. Can I explain the meaning of the days of the week again? Sure. Wow, look at you, Ahad. That's such a big compliment. I'm a big fan of Leonardo da Vinci. That's one of my idols, and that's one of the people I think of when I try to consider, am I being well-rounded enough? To be well-rounded means to know about many things and to try to learn about many things. I try. I'm not nearly as brilliant as he was. I'm not brilliant at all, but I try to follow in his footsteps. Okay, so the days of the week. Let me explain to you where those words come from. The days of the week. Okay? Monday. Well, no, we'll start with Sunday. What is Sunday? Sunday means the day of the sun. Sunday is the day of the sun. Monday is the day of the moon. M-O-O-N, the moon. Tuesday is a day named after the old German god Two, T-I-E-W. And the god Two, it was a god that the Romans called Mars, but the Germans in that area called him Two at the time. So Tuesday is the day of two, okay? T-I-E-W, not the number two, okay? Wednesday is named after the Viking god, the father of all Viking gods, Odin. Odin is how we spell his name now. But a long time ago, they used to spell his name or pronounce his name as Vodin. Vodin. Woden. So, Wednesday is Woden's Day. It's the day of Woden. Thursday is Woden had a son. His name is Thor. You've seen him in the movies. Thor is the guy, the really strong, handsome guy with long blonde hair who has a big hammer. The hammer of Thor. So Thursday is the day of Thor. Thor, Thor. Okay? Friday is named after another Viking goddess. Not a god, but a goddess. Freya. 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 Freya was the goddess of, I forget. The goddess of love and beauty and war. So Friday is Freya's day. And Saturday is the day of Saturn. Saturn, the planet, was also a god, a Roman god. Okay? So, there you go. Oh, well, that's interesting. Thursday is Giovetti. That's Jupiter. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because some of the days of the week in English are named after Roman gods. Some of the days of the week are named after Viking gods. One of the days of the week is named after a German god. And, Sunday and Monday, I think those are just kind of universally, they were pagan gods. The moon and the sun have always been worshipped by people. Okay? Hello, Jeanette. Good morning. Bom dia. Sarah, you understand me when you listen, but when you try to talk, you can't. Well, you need more practice, Sarah. Language is like a musical instrument. You're not going to get better if you don't try, and you have to practice every day as much as you can. You all need to think about your voice in English like a musical instrument. Every language you learn is like a musical instrument. How long does it take to sound good to play a musical instrument? How much do you need to practice to sound good on the piano or the violin, okay, or the oud, or the sitar? How long do you need to practice before you sound good? A lot. Your voice is no different. Your language is no different. And yes, Isa, I am a drummer. Hello, Kamal. Hello, Kartik. Sidra, any question is good today, but thank you for asking. You're welcome, Mo. And again, Kartik, thank you for asking. You can ask any question you want today. I won't yell at you. I'm glad that people are starting to ask what the topic is before they start speaking, though. I'm very happy about that. That's a good thing you should do on any live stream. If someone has taken the time to turn on their camera for you, you should ask them why they're there and what the purpose is before you just start asking them questions. Okay? Ahad, the Germans had many different gods a long time ago, okay? And one of them was the god Tiew, T-I-E-W, which the Romans called him Mars, okay? Yeah, Hana, the days of the week in Chinese are also somewhat like that, numbered. 星期一、星期二、星期三、星期四、星期五、星期六、星期天. Thank you, Islam. Rory, you don't know how to act spontaneously in English assignments for recording a video in English? Um, well, if you're not comfortable yet speaking completely spontaneously in a video in English, then what you should do is don't write out all the words that you want to say, but write out some key notes. Just maybe you can have a note card and just use a note card that will tell you a few key points that you want to say. And if you only have a few words written, then you have to speak spontaneously for the rest of it. The key points will just remind you of what you want to talk about, but then you have to speak spontaneously about those key points. Okay, Rory? Yeah, of course, Gunter, I'm talking about the ancient, German gods. All right, now who was it who wanted to come talk to me again? Are you still here? Was it Ria? Who was it? I think it was Ria. Yeah, Ria. Let's get Ria up here first, and then I'll talk to Rama. Ria, are you still here? See, Ria, you left. All right, then let's talk to Rama. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel, everyone. Please follow my YouTube channel. If you support me and you like what I'm doing, then you must go to my YouTube channel and support me there. Hello, Rama. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good morning, Mark.
Good evening to you. What can I do for you today?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a practice. Please practice.
Okay.
I
All
know
right.
I'm following your last time you have suggested some point to me. I'm
Okay.
following them. Hopefully they will help me a lot.
Okay. I hope they will help you too. So what would you like to talk about today? Let's pick a topic. You want to
Yeah,
talk?
you
You
can suggest and talk.
Okay, how about food or music? Are either of those interesting to you?
Yeah, I'm okay with the food.
Okay, let's talk about food. So tell
Yes.
me, what is your favorite Indian food dish?
Yeah, Indian food dish. Generally, I prefer a very simple food due to
Okay,
my health condition,
okay.
and
Like what?
very simple food like simple chapati and
Chapati? Okay,
simple simple vegetables.
okay.
There's no adding oily or something. It's a kind of my health conditions, so I follow that.
I understand. Okay, all right. Well, I hope your health is okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. I do like Indian food a lot. Like
A lot of spicy food there.
Yeah, I like spicy food. I love spicy food. Sometimes spicy food doesn't like me, but I like it. And the Indian food, there's so much delicious Indian food. I love to eat naan bread. It's one of my favorite kinds of bread. I love garlic naan. That's my favorite. I like garlic a lot. So, garlic I put on everything. I would eat garlic ice cream if I could.
Garlic is kind of an ingredient of a vegetable.
It's a vegetable. It's a kind of it's from the onion family.
Yeah,
Garlic.
it's
Yeah,
yeah. Indian family is a kind of if I say it's a kind of ingredient like chili
that's right.
or some
That's right.
onion.
That's right. Yeah. I love tandoori chicken and tandoori stuff. I love tikka.
Yeah.
chicken tikka masala or chicken tikka saag. Oh, saag is one of my favorites. I love
Yes,
saag.
the sag is a vegetable.
Yeah,
Yeah, like vegetarian actually. I'm
yeah,
talking about it's a vegetarian.
that's right. I like that. I usually get there's my favorite Indian restaurant in town. That's what I always order from them is chicken tikka saag, like together. So it's chicken and tikka, the chicken tikka put on top of some saag, which is it's spinach and tomatoes, right? Some kind of spinach and tomatoes together, right?
Yes.
And I like paneer. Paneer is really good. Korma, samosas are always yummy. But you're right, though. Some Indian food is really delicious, but not always healthy because there's a lot of oil or butter in it, you know? Yeah, it's
Yes.
funny.
And there are even a lot of spicy. There are a lot of chili. Even I avoid the chili. It's my health condition. That's why I'm avoid. Otherwise, if
Ah.
people use spicy and chili very. So,
And I
you
think
know,
it's interesting because Indian food, they use chilies, but it's usually the green ones, right? Not the red ones. They're
yeah,
not,
yeah.
they pick them green usually, not red.
Even the like they use the chili, green chili like a salad, part of a salad.
Ooh, wow. That's spicy. And that's a spicy salad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about foreign foods? What kind of foreign foods do you like?
Foreign food generally there is I'm not much aware, but generally like hamburger and other things.
Okay. Do you actually like do you like any foreign foods?
As I said that even I prefer a simple food because of my health condition. So even I don't go outside like restaurant or hotel.
Okay.
There are
All right. I understand. I understand. Okay. Well, what about music? Let's talk about music, Rama. What kind of music do you like?
music. Actually, any kind of music is always good, but
Do you like to listen to modern Indian music or traditional Indian music? Like
yeah, modern, modern.
so more like the Bollywood style of music.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
Because it's like a lot of change in the modern music. Some lot of changes in the composer or other things as well.
Yeah,
It's a very kind of fast music.
that's right. Yeah, Bollywood music is a lot. It's very influenced by Western music. Very,
Yes,
very
yes,
influenced by Western music. Yeah, but I actually really like traditional Indian music a lot too. I love a good raga.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
good, good.
and I like tabla. The tabla drums is one of my favorite kinds of drums.
Even
And
you are a drummer, right? You are definitely you are fond of music and other art as well.
when I was young, I studied or I listened to Zakir Hussain and Ala Raka and
Oh,
who else? Oh, I'm forgetting
can, can
one.
you can you try to play drummer now, if possible?
Can I play what?
Drummer, as you are a drummer, right?
Yes, I might play drums a little bit later at the end of my stream. It's a bit early now, but I
Okay,
could
no problem.
I can play my. Where's my Indian drum? I have an Indian drum here somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, very nice.
I've had this drum for probably, I don't know, 20 years, maybe more than that. Let me see if I haven't practiced this drum in many years, so I probably can't play it very well anymore, but let me try to play something. Hold on one moment. Let's see. Don't want to hit that. Okay, let's try this.
Very nice.
simple little beat there?
Yeah, yeah, very nice, very nice.
Okay, let me turn that back off. There we go. All
I'm
right.
sorry, Mark. I don't have much awareness about music, and I just
Well, you don't have to know much about music. Music is something that you should just listen to and
there
feel.
are many kind of music, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there are. And that's why I
Many
like to
kind.
talk about music and food so much because I want everyone to understand that music and food are two of the best ways that you can explore culture from around the world without traveling anywhere. You don't have to travel anywhere. You can go eat some food from a German restaurant and it's like you're traveling. You can go eat some food from an American restaurant and it's like you're traveling. You're not traveling, you're in your city, but you're eating food that's from another place. Music,
Yes.
you don't have to go anywhere. You can listen to music from the Middle East. You can listen to music from Germany or France or England. You can listen to music from South America and Brazil or, and it's like you're traveling, but you're not going anywhere. And
Yeah,
and
correct.
everyone loves music and everyone loves food. So it's a really great way to just explore the world of culture.
Yeah, they are both are very important and important aspect of our life.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can say without food we can't survive.
that's right.
And
Yeah.
music is a symbol of a kind of a love, or
And
I can say love.
yeah, food and music are also they're two of the most simple luxuries in life, right? Because even if you're poor, poor people make some of the most delicious food in the world, in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
Like
correct.
if you ask me, I would rather eat street food than go to a very fine, expensive restaurant. Every time I go to a very fine, expensive restaurant, I don't think it's really that great. But sometimes when I eat something on the street from some street vendor, I feel like, oh wow, it's like magic, so delicious, you know. And again, music is the same way. You can experience music and it'll touch you inside and you'll feel something. And that's a magic. That's a kind of magic, you know?
It's a kind of art. If we prepare a food,
I
it's a
agree.
art. How
I
you
I
how you
agree.
prepare. It's same apply for the music as well.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And
Okay.
if you like anything like food like or music like, it depends perfections how, like, who is preparing music or food depends on perfection how perfect that guy.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well,
And
Rama,
perfection
you're
from
doing
the
very
inside.
your English is doing really well, I think. You're coming along well with your English. So keep practicing with it and remember that I always tell everybody the best kind of practice you can do is in your mind. You can use English anytime you want to. You don't have to
Yeah.
practice with just your writing or your speaking or you can just think in English and that's the best kind of practice that you can do because you can do that often. Okay? So just try to keep your English mind working. And remember that every language you learn is basically like a new mind. And when you first learn a language, you have a baby mind and it won't grow
Yeah.
up unless you use it.
Yes, you are correct. Even I'm totally agree. As you said, baby mind.
That's right. But
Because if the baby doesn't matter which reason the like baby is like South Africa,
that's right.
he will
Yeah.
learn the South African language.
And
If
if
he's
you,
in
you
like India or he's in like China, so definitely he learn the Chinese language. So doesn't matter it's very hard or it's a very easy. It's a like human mind that maps the things, uh, and accordingly he grabs the things.
and if you use it more, then it will grow up, right? But if you never use your baby mind in that language, then it will always be a baby mind, right? So thinking is a very important part to your progress in language. if you don't spend enough time thinking, then it doesn't matter how much time you spend on reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You have to balance them, right? So if you work on your reading and your writing and your listening and your speaking, that's good, but you also need to balance it with your thinking, or they won't be they
It's a
won't be
first
they won't be
prerequisite,
comfortable.
initial point. Thinking is a first prerequisite and
That's
initial
right.
point.
That's right.
If we think, then we can proceed further.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Okay, well,
And
Rama, I'm going to let you go and see if I can talk to a few other people today here, but thank you for coming on my stage again. I appreciate it.
okay, thank you so much, Mark. Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Bye. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Hello, Belen. Good to see you, dear. Hello, Johnny. Regards. Yeah, I think it's a Dolak Ahad, but Dolaks sometimes have a different kind of head on them. The heads on these are more like a tabla. But so I thought it was a Dolak when I bought it, but then someone told me it's more like a tabla because the heads are different. So I don't know what to call this thing anymore. Okay, let's see. Ria's back. Ria, where did you go? I tried to find you before. Ria, are you still here? There's Ria. Let's talk to Ria. Hello,
Hello,
Ria.
sir.
How are you?
Hello. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. What can I do for you today? Did you want to just chat, or do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I always have questions for you. Whenever
Okay.
I will join, I will come with some questions.
Well, that's good. I like questions. So what can I do for you?
Okay, so I want to know how to use passive structure in our conversation. Like, I know the rules, but whenever it comes to speaking, mostly I find myself speaking in active voice.
Well, passive voice is a funny thing. We don't need to use it too often. And, hold on, let me give you some examples. Okay, so for example, if I say, who ate the food, right? Who ate this food? You could say, well, he ate it. Or you could say, the food was eaten by him. That's passive voice. But that's why it's kind of weird, because why would you say it that way? The food was eaten by this man. There are not too many situations where you really need to use passive voice, so you can practice it, but just keep in mind that active voice is definitely the one we use most of the time. Okay, the difference between passive voice and active voice is with passive voice, you're focused on talking about the thing, not about the person, right? So if you say, he ate the food, that's active voice. But if you say, the food was eaten by him, now I'm talking about the food, not about him. Do you see? Do you understand? And yes, Hannah says, I think passive voice is used mostly in writing. And I agree, it usually is mostly used in writing. So there are not many situations when you're speaking where you really need to use the passive voice, right? And again, I always used food as a good example to talk about passive voice. He ate the pizza was eaten by him. That's the only difference between those two, is active voice and passive voice. But they both say the same thing. But active voice is talking about the person, passive voice is talking about the thing.
Yeah, as you said, sir, so if you want to emphasize on object,
That's
on
right.
thing,
That's right. You focus on the object. Talk about the thing first, and then what happened to the thing, right? So let me give you some more examples. Let's see.
If I say like about this session, so I want to focus about you. So I would say your most of the students attend your session, but I can't say here your session has been attended by many students because the main thing is I want to focus. So I heard this that when you want to focus the subject, use active. But when it comes to actual speaking, that time we get blank. That
That's
time,
right. That's right. Yeah, I have a good page here. I'm going to try to see if I can send you. So I could say Tina shot the gun, or I could say the gun was shot by Tina. I could say the cook prepared the soup, or I could say the soup was prepared by the cook. So maybe if your mom asks, oh, well, who made this delicious soup? It's so delicious. Then you could say, oh, the soup was made by the cook, because she's talking about the soup mostly. So the focus is on the soup, right? You could say, the city will tear down this empty house. Or you could say, this empty house was torn down by the city. All right? So what you should do is you should write down 10 sentences with active voice and then try to write them in passive. Okay, that'll give you a better idea of how passive voice works. You could say, someone stole her new car. Or you could say, her new car was stolen by someone. Understand? Okay?
yes, sir.
So this is a good website that I think you can use to help you understand. It explains about passive voice, and it has a lot of examples. I think I can send it to you. Let's see if it's
Okay.
too big.
Yes, sir. No, when it comes to rules and all, I know the rules.
So you just need to practice more then. I think you just need more practice then, okay? Let's see. What are the drawbacks of passive voice, though? Passive voice doesn't change the meaning of the sentence at all, but just the subject is the thing and not the action, right?
Yes, sir.
So, but it's a little awkward sometimes. It seems a little
Am I
weird
audible?
sometimes.
Hello?
Yes, you're audible. I can hear you. So yeah, it's just passive voice just seems awkward sometimes. Sometimes it's a little strange to use. So that's why I'm saying you don't always have to use it. It's really rarely used in speaking. It's usually in writing. Okay, so let me give you guys this link. Oops, it's almost long enough, but not quite long enough. So here is the rest of the link. So copy those two things together. You just need to add passive.pdf on the end of that, and there's this nice little PDF I found that has all of the rules about active and passive, and the benefits of using it, and the drawbacks of using it, and it has some practice sentences that you can look at too. Okay, so go to
Yes,
that
sir.
link, and you'll find good information about it, and you can practice more. Okay, Ria?
Okay, sir, fine. And second one, I want to ask about I want to try different sentence structure. So as I said, I want to use passive. In the same way, there is oxymorons, where we use at the same time opposite words.
Right. Oxymorons. So you want to know how to use oxymorons more?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is an oxymoron, everyone? Oxymorons are two words that go together that have opposite meaning, right? So if I say the feeling was bittersweet, the feeling was bittersweet. Bitter is one kind of taste, and sweet is another, and they're opposites, right? So coffee is bitter, but sugar is sweet. So bittersweet means you're putting those two things together, right? And it means, if you say, I feel bittersweet, it means that you feel somewhat good, but also somewhat bad, right? So maybe if your son or your daughter is going off to college for the first time, you'll feel bittersweet about it because they're leaving, so you feel sad, but you're happy and proud because they're going to college. So it's bittersweet, okay? What you need to do is you just need a good list of oxymorons that you can use and then try to figure out how you can use them effectively. If I say this food is awfully good, awful means bad, good is good. So when you say it's awfully good, it's basically a way of saying really good. But that's kind of
Yeah.
a funny one because it doesn't really have opposite meanings. It's they're both positive in that case. In that case, awful is a form of the word very, essentially. If you say we are alone together, oh, we lost you, Ria. I'm sorry. Probably the time limit again. Or if you say, let me continue on for the rest of you here. If you say we are alone together, alone means one person, but if you say alone together, that's an oxymoron. Or if you say the silence was deafening, the silence was deafening. Silence is quiet. If something is deafening, it means it's so loud it's making you deaf. So when you say the silence was deafening, it means it's so quiet it's almost scary. Okay? So there are many, many different oxymorons, and the best way to use them, or the best way to learn how to use them, is to get a good list of oxymorons. Do a search online and get a list of oxymorons. And you can look at example sentences, or you can just try to practice thinking of how you can use them by yourself. Okay? All right. Let me see. Sorry we ran out of time there, Ria. Hello, Arya. Good to see you again. Yes, my favorite topic indeed, food. Yes, the difference between work and job. Well, all jobs are work, but not all work is a job. Okay? Work can be any activity that you're doing that requires effort. Okay? So if I say, I'm still working on my book, that's work, but it's not a job. Okay? If I say, I'm working on painting the house or painting this room, that means that you're trying to paint the room. It's an activity, okay? It's something you must do. But if your job is painting houses, then painting a house is work and a job, okay? So job means an occupation, right? Something that you do as your form of making money, okay? A form of making money. Work can be referred to as the jobs are work, but not all work is a job, okay? And thank you for trying to help there, Leonardo. I appreciate that. Hello, Hal, again. Good to see you. Hello, Natalia and Zorro. Hello, Rosarin and Hunter. What's the difference between recreation and amusement? Sometimes nothing, Lulu. I'm doing this as a form of recreation, or I'm doing this as a form of amusement. In that case, those would be the same thing. Okay? To be amused means that something is entertaining you in a positive way. Okay, so an amusement park is a park where you go to where they have many rides and they have lots of shows and things you can see and enjoy for entertainment. That's an amusement park. Okay, recreation is a little bit broader of a word. It's a bigger word. Recreation, if I say, what do you do for recreation? That means, what do you do for fun? Okay, I could say, what do you do for amusement? Also, that would be a synonym in that case. Okay, so Lulu, I would say recreation and amusement. 有时候就是一样的意思，有时候就是差不多的意思. Okay, yes, you can replace them sometimes, but not all the time. It depends on the sentence that you're trying to use them for. Okay. Recreation is something that you do for fun, to relax, to as a hobby, something like that. Those are things of recreation. Okay. An oxymoron is oxymoron. Okay, let's see. Who else wants to talk to me? Let's talk to Mohammedo in Senegal, I believe. Hello, Mohammedo.
Hello. Hello.
How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
Pretty good today. Pretty good. What can I do for you today? Do you have any questions for me or anything I can help you with?
Yes, kind of question and something that is very concerning me for the past, few months about my English.
Okay. What's concerning you?
Okay, the first thing is my first foreign language is French. And you know why while you acquire a first foreign language and you're trying to learn on your second foreign languages, people tend to make those mistakes like transferring either their native tongue or the first language that they have acquired so far into the target language.
You mean the grammar or the vocabulary or both?
Both,
Okay.
both of them, the grammar, the vocabulary, in overall, in general.
Okay.
And so, for instance, when I'm speaking English, I can't even realize it just from French word they come in my mind, and then all of a sudden I just utter them without realizing they are French word, or I just try to translate it regarding in French wise.
Okay, well, that's a common problem that happens. I even do that with Chinese every once in a while. I'll be speaking English, but then I'll use a Chinese word, or I'm teaching someone in English in my lesson, and then when they do something correct, I'll say, "Oh yeah, 对对对," which means correct in Chinese. So like, I just naturally start throwing out Chinese words when I'm trying to speak in English sometimes. And that's kind of natural, but I don't think it's usually a huge problem for most people. And in your case, you're lucky because 30% of English words come from French. So there's a good chance it could be both English and French when you say it. Maybe you're just pronouncing it with more of a French accent. But I think if you're aware of it, now that you're aware of the problem, you need to focus on it a little bit more. And I think that you should consider this to be actually a good thing, not a bad thing, because it means that your language in your mind is becoming more connected, that the words are just there to use, and they're feeling like they're on equal ground, because sometimes you're taking from French and sometimes you're taking from English and you're just putting them together. That's somewhat of a positive thing in some ways. If you weren't aware of it, then it would be a big problem. But you are aware of it, so now you just need to concentrate on it a little bit more, okay? But when it happens, it's probably not going to be much of a problem most of the time. It's only going to be a problem if you're speaking to someone who doesn't know any French, and when they hear you say that word, they're going to be confused. But that's okay because they'll probably tell you, huh? They'll say what? Like, what was that? I don't understand that. And then you can realize, oh, I said that word in English or in French. I need to translate it, and that's okay. This is a somewhat common problem, I think, for most people who are learning languages, especially if you know more than one. Two languages or three, then it becomes even worse. So I think you already have the solution. The solution is that you have to be aware of it. And then when it happens, don't worry about it too much because, like I said, in most cases, it's not going to cause you many problems in real life. And
So you see, sorry to interrupt.
no, that's
The
okay.
positive thing about it is sometimes when I don't know a word in English and I know your word in French, I just try to I don't know to put it in an English way, like try to pronounce it in an English pronunciation.
Oh, that's funny.
So sometimes, sometimes it like it could be just the perfect word to use.
But you're just using
But
it.
some
I see. That's funny. Can you give me any
so
examples of that?
sometimes, and on the other hand also, I've noticed it like two times. For instance, the first time it was with the word hospitable.
Hospitable. Okay.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I did not know how to say it in English
Mm-hmm.
at first.
Okay.
And then the first thing that comes in my mind was like when we say some people are hospitable in French, we tend to say ils ont de l'hospitalité in French.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So instead of saying like are they have hospitality or they are hospitable, I said my people they are hospitalized people.
Okay, but that's close
So
enough,
it,
man. That's close enough. That's close enough. And like I said, that's an example of a word that the French word and the English word are not that different from each other, right? So really, if you said that to me, I would know what you meant. I would know. I would hear the word in the French and I would say, oh, I think he means hospitable. I would know that. And I think that there are a lot of people who probably could guess what you're trying to say in the way that you're trying to say it. Like I said, if you didn't know that you were doing that, that would be a much bigger problem because you can't fix a problem if you don't know you're doing it. But if you
absolutely.
know you're doing it, then okay, it's all right. So it happens every once in a while. It probably doesn't happen too often. So when it does happen, you just try to make a note of it from now on. Just like you just did. Maybe carry around a little, notepad or use your phone and create a note that every time you do that, try to see if you can make a little note of, oh, I said the French word for hospitable, not the English word. That way, that word will kind of become something that you'll make a note of for the future. And hopefully the next time you need to use that word, you'll be more careful. All right? So you can create a little note with a list of all the words that you do that with, and maybe that'll help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you said, like people I'm usually speaking with, they master English well.
Hmm.
And then the second thing is when I first said that word, they knew what I was trying to say.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, why it was their turn to speak, they say yes. Even our people are hospitable, so they correct me without
See?
saying it to me directly
And
directly.
that's
But
right. They may have been correcting you in the most polite way by not correcting you. They
absolutely.
don't tell you that they're correcting you. They just use the English word. I do that all the time when I'm teaching, and sometimes when my students speak and they use the Chinese word instead of the English word, I will tell them what the English word is by just saying, yes, you're right. We are very hospitable, right? Like that. And then they'll make it, oh, I see what he's doing there. He's correcting me without correcting me, right? Yeah.
But the problem in that is they were my peers, so it was kind of embarrassing. So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
They were your what?
my
Oh,
peers,
your
my
peers.
comrade or my
Right, right,
mates.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we were engaged in some research program, and then while you're in your peers, so mostly people are embarrassed about their English if their peers are more fluent than them. So you see what I'm trying to say,
I see what you're trying to
and
say, but Mohammedo, your English is very good. You don't need to worry. You really don't. And this problem is a problem that generally only happens when your language is pretty advanced.
okay.
Okay, it's not something that happens to beginners. It's something that happens when your English and your French are near the same level, and so your brain gets a little bit confused sometimes. Not confused, but it's just taking from one word from one language and using the other language. They're starting to be on the same level, and I think that's actually a sign that your English is becoming better, not worse, because your brain is kind of confusing the two languages in your mind, and that only happens when they're near the same level. Okay, so really, I don't think you have to worry too much. I mean, I've only spoken to you for a few minutes here, but I can tell your language is very good.
Oh,
So
thank
I
you.
wouldn't worry. And I honestly think I have to say this so often to people. Almost everyone I talk to, they think their English is worse than it is. And I have to tell them, no, you're doing really well. And why is that important? Because confidence is a very important part of language. Language is a performance. And when you perform anything, you have to be confident to do it well, right? But if you feel like your English is not good, then you won't speak confidently, and the chances of you making mistakes go up significantly.
Go up.
Yeah,
Definitely,
that's
definitely.
exactly right. So it's just that's why I always tell people it's language is just like a musical instrument, and to be a singer, to be a guitar player or a drummer, you have to feel confident to play well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so when you go to a concert and you see a concert and you pay money for that, what you are paying for, you're paying to see someone who believes in themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing to remember that, oh, well, if I want to perform like that, then I have to believe in myself. Yeah. So, but you're doing well, man.
Thank you, thank you. Now, and there is also a second thing. The second thing is when engaged, for instance, in an interaction like this, I tend to have to choose the proper word. I tend to have these problems like kind of breakdown. Beside the French transferring into English, but it could be just even it's a simple word or a simple word that I could use or any basic English speaker could have done in just a few seconds, but I tend to have those problems, and it's becoming recurrent nowadays. It's become recurrent. I've noticed it a lot, so I don't know again how to deal with that.
So wait, you just forget like very common words that you need to use? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can you give me any examples of that? Can you think of a time when that
um
happened to you?
oh well.
I know it's hard when you have to actually think of
Yes,
what
it's
happened. I
hard.
know, I know, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what to do with that problem. Well, let me ask you one question. How often do you think using English, not French?
On daily basis, sometimes I can spend a whole week without even speaking English.
But I'm not talking about speaking. I'm only talking about thinking.
Thinking
Yeah, how often do you
every
use
every day.
Okay, good. That's good. That's the most important part of strengthening your language is language starts in the mind. So you can't have good physical language. Physical language is reading, writing, speaking, and listening, right? Those are the four parts of physical language. You can't have
Yes.
those be strong. They will not be strong if your mental language is not strong. And so that's why I encourage everyone, you have to start using English when you're thinking about your daily life, just when you're cooking food or watching TV or going to the store, use English, not your native language, as much as you possibly can. And the more you do that, the more comfortable it should become. And these little problems of forgetting simple words should go away. But I'll tell you this, Mohammedo, that's a problem that happens to any native speaker too. There are times when we go like, oh, what's that word? What's that word? I know it's a very easy, simple word, but we say, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue means I know it, but I can't remember it. It won't come out my mouth. It's on the tip of my tongue. So there you go. Why don't you use that next time? Use that idiom. The next time you forget a simple word and you're in that position, you can say, oh, what is that word I'm trying to think of? It's on the tip of my tongue. Sometimes when I do that, it happened to me just a few weeks ago. I was trying to write a comment to someone in Facebook or something, and there was a word that I wanted to use that I know what the word is, but I could not think of what it was. And I went in I asked my father, I was like, what's this word that describes this thing? And even he couldn't think of it. And later we both remembered what the word would be. And but again, that happens to native speakers too. So the problems you have are advanced problems. That's a good sign.
Okay.
That's a good sign. Yeah.
That's great to hear that.
That's a good sign. Yeah. If you're having those kinds of problems, those are native people problems. So don't worry. Just keep practicing. It's just
exactly. So sorry. Something comes to my mind. For instance, I remember one day I was doing a presentation. It was about organ donor.
Okay.
Organ donor. So. And while I've made my research, and then I outlined it perfectly. And then while I've started to present, and I wanted to give an analogy of a man in the U.S. who had been implanted pig's heart.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wanted to try to talk about that man, so I forgot the animals, what was the man implanted in, and I knew it. It was just
right.
I didn't know how it slides in my mind. And the problem is when it happens to me a lot, when it happens to me sometimes, I just stay quiet without saying nothing, and just I try to think about the word. And then as long as I'm thinking, I'm wasting time. Time is running out of my mind, and then
then it gets worse.
I felt embarrassed. So that's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. Then let's talk about that very quickly. Mistakes. This is one of the worst problems people have in learning anything. They think that mistakes are bad, and they think that mistakes, that's why you get embarrassed. You feel upset. You feel bad when you make mistakes. And this is also a big reason why many people won't speak enough. They're so afraid to make mistakes that they don't practice at all, right? They're afraid to make any mistake. But mistakes are one of the best ways for you to learn, okay? Think about it more like a scientist, right? So when a scientist has a theory, he has to do experiments to test that theory. And sometimes the experiments are a success, and he writes down the data and he says, okay, it worked just like I thought. Sometimes the experiments don't work like they thought, but they still write down what happened. And let me ask you a question. Which one do they learn more from, the successes or the failures?
The failures.
That's right. So mistakes are a really good way for you to improve and learn from what you made, the mistakes that you made, right? So don't think of them as bad. Think of them as a good thing. They're an opportunity to learn. They're an opportunity to improve. And like I said, if you're aware of your mistakes, that's the first step to improving them and fixing them, right? Now that you know that those are your problems, and these are advanced problems, right? They really are. Because the example you gave, that could have happened to anyone. Seriously. Like even I could have forgotten, sometimes, what we call it? When you can't remember something very simple, like just a simple word, we call it a brain fart.
Brain fart.
A brain fart, yeah. Yeah, we say like, oh man, I just had a total brain fart. What is that word? I can't think of that word. It's my brain. It's a brain fart. Yeah, that's what it means. That's what we say because it happens to us too in English, in our native language. It happens to everyone in every native language. There's just times when your brain just has a fart and you're like, what is that thing? I don't know why I can't remember that simple thing. Yeah, that's what we call it, man, because we know it's silly. That's why we gave it a silly name. We gave it a silly name because it's a silly problem. And, when it happens, it's embarrassing, but you need to think about it like that. It's more like somebody will laugh at you, sure, but they don't think you're stupid. It's just a brain fart. It happens to anybody and everybody. At some times, you just have those, and you're just like, man, why did I couldn't remember that word. But don't get upset about it. It just happens, Yeah.
Okay, I'll take note about it. Now maybe there are others I won't stay long. So here is my third question.
Okay.
It's about how to deal with an exceed amount of procrastination.
Okay. Procrastination is a problem for everybody in the world, even me. And for me, at this point in my life, it's important that you try to think about procrastination in a way that makes your body react differently. So when we procrastinate, usually we think, well, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. It's no big deal. I'll get to it later. But you need to reframe it in a different way. Okay, so when I procrastinate, I try to think about it like I'm driving down the highway with my car, and I'm going 60 miles an hour, right? And pretty fast, right? And if I take my hands off the wheel when I'm driving, will I crash? Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah.
But there's a really good chance you will, and you shouldn't be surprised if you do. So
Yes.
I like to think about it like when you're procrastinating, you're taking your hands off the wheel of life. So will something bad happen? Maybe not. But
Maybe not.
but you should not be surprised if it does, because you're driving down the highway and you took your hands off the wheel. You have to reframe it. It's that same kind of thing. I either think about it like a car or a boat. If you just don't steer the boat, you're probably going to crash. If you don't steer the car, you're probably going to crash. Your life is a vehicle. And when you procrastinate, you're taking your hands off the controls. And so you shouldn't be surprised if things go badly, And if you think about it that way, you're more likely to go, yeah, I probably really shouldn't do that. You shouldn't take your hands off the wheel when you're driving. That's obvious. Everyone knows that. So I think it's a matter of reframing procrastination as being a more serious thing than it is. Like when we imagine procrastination is not usually a big problem. I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. I'll do it tomorrow. But sometimes tomorrow never comes, and you just keep pushing it back and back and back, and then you end up with bigger problems. The more you procrastinate, the more chance that things are going to go wrong. Right. And again, just like taking your hands off the wheel, if you take your hands off the wheel for 1 second, you're probably okay. But if you take your hands off the wheel for 1 minute, there's a very good chance your car's going to go off the road and you'll crash. Right. So reframe procrastination in a way that makes your brain understand that it has consequences, not just, it's no big deal. Okay. That's the way I usually try to do it. Because when people just try to say, oh, well, it's irresponsible, that doesn't make anybody change their behavior. But you have to think about it more like it's not a matter of irresponsibility. It's a matter of, do you want to be in control of your life or not? Do you want to be directing your path, or do you want to just let the car go and see what happens? that's the thing that I've tried to do in the last few years of my life here. I've tried to think about procrastination in a more serious way by giving myself a psychological analogy that helps me try to make it more serious and not such a, oh well, no big deal, you know. It doesn't always work. Procrastination will always be a problem for everyone in this world. But you just have to try to
Absolutely.
limit it. You have to try to limit it more, and you have to try to think about it more seriously, so you do it either less or less frequently, you know. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all for today, and thanks for your for your availability, if I can say so. So it speak. This is not my first time, interacting with you,
I
because
remember
it
you,
probably
yeah.
maybe, yeah, it probably gonna be the fifth or the sixth time, talking to you, and I always, draw lessons and then learn a lot and try to apply them in real life and try to get things settled in an advanced way. So thanks you, and maybe others want to join, and then I'll just give the space.
Thank you, Mohammedo. It's always nice to talk to
All
you
right.
as well. So
And thank you. You're welcome.
take care, my friend, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Have a
Have a
good
good
day.
evening. Bye bye. All right. Yeah, Mohammedo's a great guy. I like him. Hello, Miguel. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Hello, Juan Jose. Good to see you as well. Okay. And remember, everybody, if you run out of time on Hello Talk, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can still talk to me in YouTube. Okay. I have two chats going. I have one going in Hello Talk and one going in YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel and you won't lose your time. You know, you won't get kicked off for your time limit. You know, you could just talk to me over here. Okay. Alex says the problem is I get the motivation and the enthusiasm, and I get up to start studying, but after a couple days I lose my enthusiasm. And Alex, the word that you want is LOSE, not LOOSE. Lose means to not have something anymore, or to not be able to find something. Loose, LOOSE, means something is not tight, like your belt is loose. Okay, your belt is tight or your belt is loose. Okay. And hello, Mina Karimi. Okay. Did I miss any other questions here? Let me scroll back here a little bit. Don't have very many people today. I wonder why there's not very many people today. Only 31. Huh. Strange. Hello, Mustafa. Hello, Abdul. And hello, Gabriela. Okay, would anyone else like to come on my stage and talk to me? Sayonara Tardim says, I prefer watching the live on the YouTube channel. Yeah, there are some advantages to watching the live streams on my YouTube channel. If you watch on my YouTube channel, one, there's no time limit. Two, the quality, I think, is actually a little bit better on YouTube. The quality of the audio and the video should be better. Three, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the subtitles. Okay? There are subtitles that you will be able to see on YouTube that you can't see on Hello Talk unless you're VIP. And finally, if you go to my YouTube channel, all of these videos that I'm doing, all these live streams are recorded, and after I finish, it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and you can watch it again and again and again. Or if there was some point that you really liked, you can go and watch it and pay more attention to it so that you can understand it better. Okay? Thank you, Mohammedo. Okay, who else wants to talk to me? Filio wants to talk to me. Hello, Filio.
Hello, Mike?
Do you want me to turn off your camera?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm on the bed.
Okay,
On my
that's all
bed.
right. I turned off the camera. Oh, no, you turned it back on. Let me turn it off for you. Now it's off. Now
Okay,
it's off.
thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome. No problem. How are you today? What can I do for you?
It's good, but I just finished my work.
Ah, I understand. I know that feeling. Did you have a long day?
Yes, from 8 a.m. to maybe 9 p.m.
Ooh, wow, that is a long day. Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's the way I feel almost every day these days. What is your job?
I'm a teacher in a university.
Oh, wow. Well, then that is a very long day.
Yes, many people in Hello Talk they ask me where I can find a good job like you.
And what do you teach?
My major is sports kinesiology, but actually I teach psychology in my school.
Oh, wow, that's cool. My father is a psychologist.
Wow, great. And it's my first time to speak on Hello Talk, and I had IELTS test last week. I felt very nervous when I had the speaking part.
Okay.
The examiner, she had a poker face. She didn't smile. Oh my god, I feel nervous. I feel nervous. So
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah, that's why the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, honestly, sometimes your ability to do well on that test is all about who is giving your test to you, who is your examiner.
Yes, exactly.
Because, yeah, if you get somebody who's being kind of like, okay, now answer this question. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. And I don't know why they feel like they want to do that. I think they feel they're taking the job seriously. But really, no, they're not, in my opinion. I think it's mostly their ego that's doing that. Because they want to feel like they're in control or they're kind of it's like a master slave kind of a mentality. And that's not helpful. That's not helpful for anyone. And they should be helpful. An examiner should be like an umpire or a judge, impartial. But if they're acting like this, when they give your test, that's not impartial. That's not impartial at all. That's
Exactly.
psyching you out, to use a psychology term. To psych you out is it's a slang term that means that they're trying to make you overthink. They're trying to make you nervous and trying to make you judge incorrectly because you're nervous. So that's not a good thing.
I don't know. Is the same in other country or only in China?
Do I think that this problem happens everywhere? Oh yeah, it definitely
Yes.
does. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think it happens everywhere. That's why, like I said, sometimes the best advice I can give people is to take the IELTS test more than once. Because the IELTS test is a difficult test. It's a difficult test. You should take it more than once. Any difficult test in life, if you can afford to, you should take it more than once. Okay? Do you know what the bar exam is?
No.
The bar exam is a test for lawyers to become a lawyer, right? It's called the
okay.
bar because the British word for lawyer is barrister. A barrister.
Okay.
They don't
See.
really use that word too much anymore, but it's the old word that meant lawyer. Okay, so the bar exam is the exam to become a lawyer. And that's one of the hardest tests in the world. It's like taking your medical boards. Also really hard, right? And so, honestly, most people don't pass the bar exam the first time. They have to take it several times before they pass it. It's a really hard test. So the TOEFL exam or the IELTS exam are both the same. I think you need to take it more than once. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because you'll get a different examiner probably the next time. And maybe that
Yes.
might make a big difference to you. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But when someone tries to psych you out like that, since you're in psychology, you need to understand this. You need to understand the psychology of what they're doing and not let them affect you that way. And it's hard. But if you know what they're doing, and in your mind you can say, "Oh, she's trying to psych me out," then you need to think of it strategically. Like, okay, I know what she's doing. I'm not going to let that bother me. I need to focus on myself and combat that kind of attitude with excessive positivity. All right? So when they come at you with excessive negativity, you need to come back at them with excessive positivity. Don't let their negativity affect you. So be extra happy when you answer, and take a deep breath. That's the first thing I'll tell you. Anytime somebody's trying to psych you out like that, first thing you need to do is just, all right.
Okay, I dig this.
Yeah, and do you know why taking a deep breath works for you? It's because, when I have a problem on my phone, if something doesn't work right on my phone, what do? You turn it off and you turn it back on, right? That's the first thing people do. With your computer, it's the same problem. If there's a problem with your computer, the first thing people usually try to do is turn it off and turn it on and see if it's okay now, right?
Yes.
When you take a deep breath, that's the human reset button.
Oh, this is like refresh
That's
your mind.
exactly right. Yeah. So when something is going to bother you like that, somebody's trying to psych you out, and it starts to bother you, you need to just kind of roll your shoulders and roll your neck and just and then answer. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
I
reset
like.
button. Like, I honestly wish, how like my Apple computer, when you turn it on, it starts booting up and then it says boom, right? Like, it has like a noise, right? I wish that you had that for yourself too. When you take a deep breath, that you could just hear that noise, like, yeah, boom. Like, okay, I'm good now. I'm okay. All right, here we go. Right. So, taking a deep breath is important. So sometimes when I have a performance, if I am nervous, that's what I do. Actually, the truth is, almost every time I have a big performance, that's the first thing I do when I sit down behind my drums is I will roll my shoulders and roll my neck and then just take a deep breath. And now I'm ready. And it only takes a few seconds, but it makes a big, big difference in a performance. Okay? And speaking at a test is a performance. Language is a performance. You need to think about language like a performance. Okay? Do everything
thank you.
performers do to perform well. Okay? Relaxation is key. And
Okay.
a deep breath
Thank you for your tips.
could be all you need sometimes. It might be all you need. But don't worry about an examiner who is just, giving you the business is what we call it. Giving you the business means like, being overly
Jeez.
difficult. Yeah, like why? Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Did you have a bad day? Like, why are you treating me like this? Like, what's wrong with you? And then maybe
Yeah, and she was asking me, "How do you do? How are you?" I think I was like, "I don't feel good with you."
Yeah, right. Well, next time that happens, if somebody's psyching you out, here's another thing you can do. I want you to imagine that they're wearing clown makeup. Imagine they are a clown, Xiao Chou. Just imagine they're a clown, and just look at them and be like, okay, clown. Like in your mind, you need to think of like, okay, clown, here's your answer, clown. Psychology is an important way to take back control of yourself. It's like they say when you have to give a speech or something and you get nervous on stage, you should imagine everybody's naked. Because if they're naked, then they're more embarrassed than you are. Right?
Yes.
It's just a psychological tool that you use to try to change your mindset, and you could also use the other tool that I use. I don't tell people to imagine everyone's naked. I never do that. But I do tell them if you're giving any kind of a speech, you should imagine that you are a teacher. Because when you're giving a speech, you feel like, oh, everybody's looking at me and everybody's judging me, you know? But when you're teaching, you're the one in control and you're trying to help people. And that should lessen the sense of nervousness. It should make you feel like you're just there to help. That's not something to be nervous about. You just give your answers and try to help and answer everything with that helpful mentality. And that should help you a bit. But then again, if somebody's really being difficult for no good reason, just imagine that they're wearing clown makeup. You know, they have a big red nose and lots of white makeup on their face and, you know, whatever, a big wig, you know, that they're wearing. And yeah, because they are being a clown. If they're being excessively negative in a way to you like that and putting off negative energy, you have to neutralize that negative energy. And by imagining them as a clown, that should do it. Okay?
I will try.
All right. Any other questions for me, Filio?
Yes, and in the part 3, she asked me a question. I can understand the question. I know what she was saying, but I don't know how to answer.
Okay. Do you know what
And
was...
she asked her, what happened if the doctor he didn't follow the routine, the daily basis things?
If a doctor didn't follow the routine of a daily basis, I don't understand that question either. A routine of what? A routine of work? Their
Routines
life
like
routine?
every day, the things you have to do every day.
Sure, I know what that means, but there are many different routines that you could be talking about. You could be talking about his personal routine of life. You could be talking about his routine as a doctor when he's examining a patient.
As a doctor. Yeah, as a
Right.
doctor.
So I would have to clarify that question myself. I would have to say, wait, which routine are you referring to? Are you referring to his personal routine? Are you referring to his work routine? Which routine do you mean? If you clarify, then I can answer. Because that's important information. That's important information. You know, I
I
wouldn't
think
know what
this
they mean.
this question is so big. I don't know how to answer from different aspects. I don't know how to answer.
Well, you're right. That's exactly how I would feel. And that's why I'm saying if somebody asks you a question that is not clear in terms of what they specifically mean or have in mind, you need to ask them to clarify. You need to say, do you mean his work routine? Do you mean his personal routine? Do you mean his examination routine? I mean, you know, you could be saying his sexual routine, you know, like which routine do you mean? Like which routine? It's many routines in a person's life. So you can't just say, what do you do if a doctor doesn't follow his routine? That's too broad. That's too nebulous. It's not clear, you know. So not every examiner is going to allow you to ask questions to specify, but that's an example of one where I would say, wait, I know what a routine is. I know what you mean, but can you clarify which routine you're specifically referring to? Are you referring to, maybe he's examining you and he's not following his typical routine for examination. Maybe she's talking about he didn't brush his teeth this morning. That's his personal routine, right? He didn't go to bed on time. That's his personal routine. He didn't eat at the normal times. That's his personal routine. There are many different kinds of ways to look at a concept of routine. So that's not specific enough to give an answer. And in my opinion, if you ask that question, that should not make you look like your English is worse. That should make you look like your English is better because you're asking them to specify. Right? So in that case, I think you got a bad question. You got a bad question. And the only option that you have in that case is to answer with every possible answer. So you could say, well, if he's not following his personal routine, I would think that that's a bit strange for a doctor because doctors are supposed to be responsible people. So if he didn't brush his teeth this morning and he hasn't seen a doctor himself in a long time and he's not eating well, I would think that that's a bit strange. But you could also say then, but maybe you're talking about his routine as an examination routine. And I would also find that to be a bit strange, and maybe I'd be a bit nervous about this doctor. Why isn't he following his routine in the examination? He should have done this first, but he did that instead. Or he didn't ask me how I feel. You know, so you have two choices. Either you have to ask them to clarify, or you need to answer every possible answer that you could.
I see.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
But in that case, I feel like you got a bad question. They should have said what kind of routine. You know,
Yes.
which routine are you referring to? Routine is not a specific word. It's a very general word. You know,
Yes.
are you following your routine? What routine? Which one? You know, that's not specific enough. Okay? So that's
Okay.
why take it again, you'll do fine.
Okay. I will
right.
try.
Okay. All right, Filio. And again, your
you.
English is excellent. Don't worry. And remember that confidence is such an important part of language because language is a performance. So be confident, and that will help you to speak better and to use your English better. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will see you next time then. Make sure you follow and come back again, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Nice one. Bye bye.
So Rapid is saying, what is a sexual routine? Well, I just mean like, you know, if you have a partner, you know, and you haven't had sex with them in a long time, then that would maybe be outside of the routine. You know, maybe you usually do it a few times a week or you do it once or you whatever. However, anything that is about the routine of that action, you know, do you do it regularly? And if you haven't been doing it regularly, then that is not following the routine. Yes, a routine can be many different things. There are many different kinds of routines, right? Anything that is you know, your exercise routine, your eating routine, right? Your sleeping routine, your work routine. Okay? There are many different ways to look at the word routine. All right? Hello, Andrew. Should you get a driver's license several times? Well, yeah, some people do. I didn't get my driver's license the first time I took my test. I failed it the first time. I can't remember why, but I remember I was 16 years old or something, and I had to take it a couple times before I got my driver's license. That's actually not that uncommon. There are many people who have to take their driver's license test more than one time. Especially, it depends on which country you're taking your test in. When I was living in Taiwan, I knew people who had to take that test many times because the rules in Taiwan are a bit crazy. And the test, it's crazy because the driving there is not what I would consider to be great, but the test is really difficult. So it's kind of weird. If everybody's passing that test, they should be driving better than they do. Okay, let's see. Who else is wanting to talk to me here? Let me go make sure I didn't miss any comments. And yes, Normeen, I am a drummer. Hello, Odie. Good to see you, my friend. And I saw that you were over in my chat the other day, Odie. I just didn't get a chance to say hello to you in YouTube. Can you talk to me, Ali? Sure. Yeah, if you want to talk to me, let me bring you up. Hello, Ali.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, my friend? Here, I'll turn the
I'm
camera
doing
off.
well.
Oh, do you want me to turn the camera off for you or
Okay.
no?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, there. It's off. Okay, and what can I do for you, my friend?
Thank you. I just I wanna ask you about the writing skill.
Okay.
How can I improve my writing skill? Because I'm not talking about like chatting or just these simple
You mean
things. I'm
formal
talking
writing?
about I want to pass exams or tests. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there are many things that you can do for that. Let me start by saying the first thing that everyone should do if you're learning a new language, whatever language you're learning, it doesn't matter, you should be writing a journal using that language, right? A diary or a journal every day. Use that. Why is a journal or a diary a good way to improve your writing? Because a journal or a diary can be anything. It could be whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever you did that day, what you want to do, your ideas, your worries, your concerns. So basically, a journal and a diary is like putting your thoughts on paper. Okay? And when we speak and when we think, it usually happens too quickly for us to make corrections about it. But when you write it down, now it's on paper and you can look at it again and you can see what you need to correct. You can find your mistakes after it's written down. And so I recommend everyone should do a diary, should write a diary. And when they do it, do not try to correct yourself. Just write. Just put it down, whatever you're thinking, even if you don't know if it's correct or not, just write it. You can correct it later. But the first thing you should do is just try to use your instinctual language, your language of instinct, to just put it down on paper, and then you can look at it and figure out what your problems are and how you can fix them. So that's step one. Everybody should do a diary. Okay? Step two is you can practice different forms of writing. Different forms of writing. So write a short story, write a poem, write a restaurant review or a movie review or a TV show review, write a historical article about something that you like in history, right? So maybe you want to write about something in Arabic history, right? Or write about something that's a news thing, a current event that you can write about, like think about yourself like you're a journalist and write an article about that thing. Like if you worked for CNN or Al Jazeera or something, what would you write about? How would you write it? Because writing, there are different forms of writing, right? So sometimes you're more informal and sometimes you're more formal. And practicing all of them is a good idea. So when you write a short story, it's more artistic. You can do whatever you want, really. And poems, especially poetry, is definitely that way. There are no rules in poetry. You can write whatever you want to, okay? But if you write a journalistic article, about a news event or a historical event, that has to be a little bit more formalized and accurate, right? And then you should read. You need to find articles that are similar to what you want to write, right? Whatever form of writing you want to be better at, you need to find people who do that writing and read theirs. Read somebody who's doing it well and see, how do they do this thing? I see that they use this kind of language or this sentence structure a lot, or they're elevating their vocabulary. They're using more difficult vocabulary. Okay? There are some books that can help you with this too, different types of books about formal writing. Okay? But really, it's about practice, one, and it's also about reading the writing that you admire. Find writing that's similar to what you want to be able to do and read a lot of it so that you get familiar with that style. Okay?
Okay. I have another question.
Okay.
If I want to study if I want to study like for example the bachelor degree in a foreign language like English, for example, should I study the vocabulary that are related to the subjects like maths and science or
Well, yeah, that would help for sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. one good way to learn vocabulary or to practice vocabulary and improve your vocabulary is to do it by subject, right? So, like you just said, write down the word math in a notebook, and then I want you to do some research and find every vocabulary word that you can that's related to math. And get another notebook and write down the word science, and then write down every vocabulary word that you think you're going to need in the realm of science, okay? Or music, or history, or psychology, right? Learning vocabulary by topic can be very useful because, as I've said many times before, one of the most important things about learning vocabulary is to have a system. If you don't have a system, you're never going to learn vocabulary well. But by topic is a good system, right? Like, for example, food. You can write the topic of food, and then you could say, okay, well, what are all the words for vegetables? What are all the words for fruits? What are all the words for meat or fish? What are all the words for, ordering food in a restaurant or cooking words? Bake, roast, steam, fry. Those are all different terms that mean different things. And you need to be able to use them when you're describing food, right? So learning vocabulary by topic is definitely a good way to learn, especially if you're looking at going back to school for something. Then yes, you should do that.
Yeah, it can also help in writing, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah. Those vocabulary words will start to be more comfortable, and you'll use them in your writing. So what I would suggest is, if you are thinking about going back to school specifically for some kind of degree, then yeah, you should think about, okay, I'm going to have a psychology class. It's very easy for you to go and do a search online for vocabulary, or you could say psychology vocabulary, or psychology terminology is another word. Terminology means all the vocabulary used in this field, in this concept, this idea. All right. So if you're an engineer, then there's a lot of terminology in engineering. If you are a computer science guy, an IT guy, there is a lot of terminology that's in that field, right? Every field has unique terminology. I'm a drummer. There is a lot of terminology that I could use that you won't know. Okay? Because it's specific to my field, my industry. Okay?
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good way to do it. Don't doubt yourself,
Okay.
Ali.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sure. So, just I want your suggestion I want to play an instrument, and I don't know what should I start. I used to play oud because
Okay.
it's so popular here
Sure.
in Arab countries.
Okay.
But I want I want to choose something else, like guitar or something, to play some foreign
Music. Okay.
musics.
All right. Well, guitar might
Should
be.
I start with guitar?
Yeah, I think guitar is probably a good choice because the oud is a stringed instrument. And if you did a little bit on that, then your hands should feel somewhat comfortable when you pick up a guitar. So acoustic guitar is one way and electric guitar is the other way. And they're both fine. You can get an acoustic guitar and you can still learn how to play songs that are usually electric songs. Or you can get an electric guitar and you can still play songs that are usually acoustic songs. Okay. Or they actually make one kind of guitar that's called an electric acoustic. It's half acoustic, half electric. Okay.
Okay. So, thank you very much, teacher.
You're welcome,
for your
Ali.
advice.
And thank you for your support and your loyalty. I appreciate it. When I see you guys here all the time, it means a lot to me. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right, my friend, I will see you next time then, okay? Take care, Ali.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Rapid over here in my YouTube chat says how to write poems and understand poems. The vocabulary in poems in the rhyming is so hard. Well, again, poetry is whatever you want it to be. This is one of the things that bothers me about English when they teach poetry. They teach that you must do it this way and that things must rhyme. No, they don't. They don't have to rhyme. There are millions of poems that have no rhyming whatsoever. Okay? Poetry is art. There are no rules. You do whatever your heart makes you feel, right? So write down the words that you feel inspired by, and that is poetry, okay? And no one can tell you it's not. Poetry is not something that can be determined by anyone else but you, okay? So don't think about it like it's something where you have to do it like somebody else did. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can. If you like that structure, then you can use those structures, but you don't have to. All right? It might be good practice to try, but you don't have to. All right? Poetry is a personal art form that has no rules. Okay? It's whatever you want to do. All right? Shakespearean poetry is great, but those are, we usually call those sonnets. He wrote a lot of sonnets, and his sonnets are amazing, but they're difficult. A Shakespearean sonnet, to write in that form, that's a pretty difficult form of writing, okay? And sure, you can try that and you can practice that, but you don't have to write it like Shakespeare, okay? Poetry is something that I think you should just start with writing whatever comes to your mind and your heart and put it down on paper. And if you want to be a good poet, the most important thing of any art form, if you want to be a good artist of any kind, you must be prolific. Prolific means you must make a lot of that thing. So if you want to be a poet or you want to be good at poetry, then you better write a lot. And they don't have to be good, okay? I promise you that Shakespeare wrote 1,000 sonnets that were not good before he had 10 that were great. That's the way art is. You have to write a lot of garbage to find a lot of diamonds. Or I should say, when you look for diamonds, you have to look through a lot of dirt first. That's a better analogy, right? To find a diamond, you have to dig through the dirt. So when you're writing poetry, if you want to write a diamond that's a poetry diamond, then you have to write a bunch of garbage first, right? Just write stuff, and then each time you do it, you'll get better. And eventually you'll write one that you feel that's really special, okay? But you can't just create genius without having tried to write a bunch of stuff that's just not very good first, all right? Odie had to take his California driver's license twice. Well, there you go. See, same as me. Yeah. All right. Yes, please don't forget to follow my YouTube channel. The Islam there is posting my YouTube channel, everybody. Islam, maybe what you should do from now on when you post that, give the arrow and the heart and just say, this is Teacher Mark's YouTube channel. That way everybody knows that you're not just promoting your channel, that you can just tell them it's mine. All right? Because I think sometimes people see you posting it there, but they don't know that it's my channel. Okay? All right. Who else wants to talk to me? And let's talk to another Ali, this one in Iran. Hello, Ali in Iran.
Hello, Ali. Nice to meet you, Teacher Mark. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And are you in Tehran or where are you?
Okay. So I'm from Iran, but I'm not from Tehran. I live in on the south of Iran, Khuzestan province and Ahvaz city.
Okay.
So I just wanted you always repeat that. Don't worry about your accent. Yeah, you're right. But I think the most of people, the most of learners that are not satisfied with their accent, actually they are not satisfied with their quality of their voice. Okay, so I mean that actually it has a psychological reason,
does.
not learning reason. You know,
I completely agree.
For example, I don't. Yeah, for example, I don't like my nose because my nose is so big. Okay, okay. So I don't like my accent. I don't like my accent because I don't have a nice and a good feeling about my voice, the quality of the voice. For example, my voice is not enough melodious. Is not enough melodious. Is not enough ear catching. You know, is not. So that's why I'm satisfied. I'm not satisfied with my accent. I mean actually the origin of this reason is a psychological reason,
I agree.
not related to learning English language.
I completely agree. Yeah. But
Okay,
again,
so
if that's true, then that means that you need to consider that, and you need to remember that it doesn't mean that your accent is bad. Your nose is a beautiful nose, and maybe you don't think it is, but maybe someone else does. Those are judgments
Yeah.
of perspective. Right? So maybe there will be somebody who comes along and says, "Oh, I like his nose. I wish my nose was just like his nose." You don't know that that's not true, okay? And your own accent, you're right. It's a psychological thing. It has nothing to do with learning. But that's why I tell people, don't worry about your accent, worry about your clarity, right? And what I mean is, I don't want anyone to think that I'm not saying that you need to not work on your accent at all. What I'm saying is there are two levels of accent to consider. One is perfection. You want to sound like me. Okay, great. And I tell you, you can do that. But it will take you between 5 to 10 years to get that level of English. But if you want to get clarity, clarity is a much easier goal to achieve. And that is the most important goal in language. Clarity, not perfection. Clarity. And I just don't like it that people think that when you learn a language, the goal should be perfection. No, I disagree. The goal should be clarity. And perfection is something that can come much later. Much later.
You're right. You're right. Completely right. Clarity and being clear is important
that's
in
right.
English language. But I meant actually the lack of self-esteem.
Right.
The lack of self-esteem is the reason of
That's-
unsatisfaction.
that's exactly right.
Unsatisfaction of their accent.
That's right.
You know?
I completely agree. Yeah, and that's
I
why I
think,
say
I think,
language
in
is
my
a performance.
opinion,
That's right.
yeah, I think, in my opinion, they needed to visit a counselor, not an English language teacher. They need to visit a counselor.
That's interesting.
A counselor, you know?
Yeah. So Ali, that's why I tell everybody that language is a performance, and any performance requires confidence for you to do it well. You must believe in yourself, right? So when you think about being a musician, that's obvious. You can't be a good musician if you're not confident in yourself, right? You cannot perform well. Well, language is just another musical instrument. And just like you said, you want your voice to be more musical. Okay, fine. That's good. That's
Sorry, I can't hear you. Teacher Mark, sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Can everybody else hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay, one moment. Can everybody else hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Right now I can hear
It's
you.
okay. All
Right
right.
now I can hear you.
Okay. So I was just saying language is a
Okay, go ahead,
performance.
please. Sorry.
That's okay. Language is a performance. And in order to perform
Sorry,
well,
I can't hear you.
yeah, I think maybe
I
it's,
can't hear you.
I think it's your connection, Ali. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's your connection, Ali. But
Okay, right now I can hear you. Right now I can hear you.
so if you're a performer, then you must have confidence. And language is a performance. Okay? So you're right. It's it's psychological.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Confidence is such an important part of speaking or any language, using the language. Confidence is so important. Without confidence, you cannot speak well. That's why I tell everyone you cannot be shy. You cannot be shy and learn a language. It's not possible. You have to put your shyness away because shyness does not benefit you in any way when you're learning a language. It hurts you. Shyness is not a good thing. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I think instead of offer others love your accent, I think it's better to say actually love your I don't know how to say love your all your characters, all your qualities, love yourself. You know,
That's
I mean,
exactly right.
not selfish, being selfish.
No, I completely agree. Again,
Love English.
the world is better when we have people who sound like themselves. I don't want everyone to sound like me. That's a boring world. That's a very boring world. Language has color. Language has color. So your accent is your color and it's very specific. It's you. It's unique. It's your color. And if you get rid of that, oh, we lost Ali. Oh, maybe the connection or maybe his time limit. If you lose your accent, you are depriving the world of that color. To deprive means to take away. So if you decide that you must sound like me, one, you're taking away that color from the world. Two, you are now telling everyone else who's learning a language that they must sound like me too if they want to be good. And three, you're almost showing, it's almost like you're embarrassed of your own culture. I hate to say it that way, but it's true. If you think that you need to have my accent to speak English well, then that's almost a form of cultural embarrassment. Like you are embarrassed of your own culture and you don't want to show that, so you try to get rid of your accent. That's not right. That's right. That's not right. You need to focus on being yourself and just being clear. Okay? I like the world with accents. I don't want everyone to speak like me. And you must remember that when you learn a language, the purpose is not to sound like you were born in that country. Okay? If I learn Arabic, I don't care if anyone, if they hear me and they say, oh, he sounds like an American. I don't care. That's not what I care about. What I do care about is, did you understand the words I said to you? Okay, if I say shukran or afwan, it's not perfect, but it's close enough, and you can understand me, and we had communication. That's it. Okay? If I say hajime mashite, it might not be perfect, but if you understand me, then that's all I care about. All right? If I say bonsoir, it's not perfect, but if it's close enough that you understand, that's all I care about. All right? Language does not need to be about perfection, and I really wish we would just forget that concept. I am going to keep pushing to get people to understand that when you tell people they have to have a perfect accent, I think it's almost a form of bigotry. It's almost a form of linguistic bigotry, linguicism, because language has nothing to do with accent. Language is about communication, not about accent. Accent is the smallest part of language. That's why I tell people, if you had 2 cars, right, I'm going to give you one of these cars, okay? One of the cars is a Mercedes-Benz, really nice car, right? They're both Mercedes-Benz cars, right? Very nice car. And the one on the right has a perfect engine, and the interior of the car, the inside of the car is perfect. It's luxury. It's beautiful. It has everything inside, right? Beautiful. But the paint on the car is not very good. The paint is not good, but the car is perfect. Or you can have the car on the left, and the car on the left, the engine does not work well. The engine is not working well at all. And the interior of the car is very bad. Okay? Very, very bad on the interior. But the paint job is the most beautiful, perfect paint job you have ever seen on that car. Which one do you want? The right one or the left one? When you buy a car, is the paint the most important thing on the car? No. No. The paint is the last thing you think about. Your accent is like the paint on the car. Okay? You don't want a car with a bad engine. You want a car with a good engine. Language is about traveling to a place, just like a car is like traveling to a place. It's not about the paint job. Okay? So forget about the paint. Worry about the engine. Does your car work well? That's it. Okay? That's the only thing to worry about. Okay? All right. Odie, your English is wonderful the way it is. I don't want you to lose your accent. You have a great accent. You know, I tell you, it's one of the things I love about being on this app is that I get to talk to people from all around the world and that I get to hear many different accents. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm telling you, I would be bored if everybody sounded like me when I talk to them. I would be bored. I enjoy hearing the music of language, and accent is part of that music. So you're depriving the world of music, your music, when you lose your accent completely. You don't need to lose it completely. You just need to make sure it's clear. That's it. Clear, clear, clear. Rapid says that guy in Iran looks a bit angry and dangerous. No, he doesn't. Rapid, no. I thought he looked like a kind old man. He looked like a kind man to me. Not angry at all. No. I think he was a perfectly pleasant individual. Okay? Let's see. Sarah in my YouTube says, teacher, if I study new words, I forget. I don't know why. Sarah, then that means that the way you're studying is not working for you. Okay? So Sarah, are you memorizing the words? Is that the way that you're learning them? By memorization? And you are welcome, Odie. And hello, Erica. Hola. Highness, give me 1 minute, and I'll be with you in just a second, okay? I'll invite you to my stage in just 1 minute. Sarah, how are you learning your new words? Are you memorizing them? Or what do you do to learn words? Sarah, can you answer my question? Is my YouTube still working? And by the way, I want to say thank you to everybody for following me. Yesterday, I finally hit 64,000 followers now. 64,000 followers around the world. So thank you for following me and helping me continue to grow my audience here. But please, please, please go to my YouTube channel that Islam Muhammad keeps putting in the chat here. Go to my YouTube channel and follow me, because it's really important that you follow me on YouTube, everybody. If you support me, it's good to follow me on Hello Talk, but you must follow me on YouTube. I cannot make any money here on Hello Talk, but on YouTube I can. So please, please, please go to my YouTube channel. There's Sarah. Yes, you're memorizing, and that's why it doesn't work, Sarah. Memorizing does not work. It is not a good way of learning. The reason why is very simple. Memorizing is boring. Your brain does not like boring. Your brain does not like boring. Your brain likes creative. So you have to be creative if you want to learn well. All right? So don't memorize words. Find a way to use them creatively, to learn them creatively, okay? So you can learn about the etymology of the words, Sarah. You can look up the words and find out, where does this word come from? Is this word originally from French? Is this word originally from Latin, from German, from Arabic? Where do these words come from? What did they originally mean? Sometimes the stories, when you read the story about where the word comes from, it's interesting. And then you will remember, okay? Or Sarah, when you learn a new word, I want you to write sentences. Use the word in sentences. But I don't want you to just write normal sentences. If you want to write a few normal sentences, that's okay, right? So if you're talking about the keyboard, this is my keyboard, right? So that's your vocabulary word is keyboard. So maybe you'll say, I need to buy a new keyboard for my computer. That's a simple sentence that's normal, okay? That's okay. That's okay, but not great. If you want to make it great, then you need to make a creative sentence that's funny and weird. Your brain likes funny. Your brain likes weird. So you can say, my mom bought me a my mom bought me a Hello Kitty keyboard for Christmas. Okay, now you have a keyboard in your mind, but it's a Hello Kitty keyboard. It's pink and it has all these Hello Kitty signs on it. Okay, give your brain something it will want to remember. Okay, Sarah, if you walk down the street and you see another person walking down the street, if they are wearing normal clothes, you won't remember them. You'll walk by them and they'll walk by you and you'll forget them 2 minutes later. But if you walk down the street and you see another person walking down the street and they have a big pink elephant hat on with purple feathers, you're going to remember that person and you're going to talk about them later. Today I saw this guy on the street and he had this big pink elephant hat with purple feathers. Your brain remembers weird and funny. Your brain doesn't remember normal and boring. So every time you learn, you need to find a way to use creativity in your learning. Then you will remember. Okay? Desperate, rapid. Desperate means something that you need. It means a very strong sense of need or want. Okay? So if you say, I desperately need to eat, it means I'm really hungry. I need to eat. I'm desperate to have some food. If you say, I'm desperate to get some money, that means that you have no money. You really need some money or you're in trouble. So desperation is a sense of extreme need for something. Okay? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. There's Highness. Let's talk to Highness in Saudi Arabia. Hello, Highness.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alaikum salam. How are you, teacher?
I'm pretty good. What can I do for you today?
First, thank you for teacher for the golden advice that you give us all the time.
You're welcome.
The second thing, um, what's the polite way to ask for something from others?
Like what kind of thing do you want to ask for?
If there is a way to ask someone in a polite way.
Well, the words that you need to use are usually may I and please. So, may I please have some more water? May I please see this paper again? Or could you? Could you please? Could you please do that again? Could you please blah blah blah, right? So, may I is the most important one to remember. May I blah blah blah. So if my student says, "Can I go to the bathroom?" I will look at them and say, "I don't know. Can you?" Because can means ability. But if they say, "May I go to the bathroom?" I will say, "Yes, you may." May is a word that is used to ask for permission politely.
Okay, but is there a difference between the polite and normal way
Well,
for others? I mean, accepting anyway, or just have I will be just polite.
I think that it's a cultural thing, okay? In English, especially in America, if you really want to be safe about how you ask for things, then always ask in the most polite way possible. Okay? So you can just say, "Can I have some more food? Can I have some more water? Can I? You can do that. It's not necessarily impolite. Okay? But if you say, "May I?" it's absolutely polite, and no one should be offended when you say, "May I?" May I ask you a question? May I go to the bathroom? May I have some more food? May I have some water? That's polite. Okay? And in America, if you're more polite, then people will be nicer to you for sure. Okay? Can I is not as good as may I. Okay?
Okay, I just want to have a make is a different to accept just like that. I know the polite way is important to others, but maybe sometimes if I want something for my friends, my
Someone close
my
to you.
family, my sister, my brother, like that.
Well, I think that if you're closer to someone, then usually because you have a close relationship with them, they don't always expect you to be polite like that. So if I'm talking to the guys in my band, right? We've known each other for 25, 30 years, and we're best friends. They're like my brothers. So I don't have to be that polite with them, and they won't be offended if I'm not. But as a general rule, most people try to be more polite whenever possible here. Okay? It's, put it this way. If you're not polite, then sometimes people think about, well, maybe you never learned how to be polite. And then they think, well, maybe your parents didn't teach you, right? So
Yes,
my
that's
mother
one
is
that
always
I,
happy if I'm more polite. If my mother hears me being polite, then she'll think, oh, that's my son. Like I raised him right. But if you're not polite, then maybe people might think that you weren't raised well. But if you're talking with people who are closer to you, like your closest friends and some of your family, then I think you don't have to always be that way because they know you don't mean anything badly by it. Understand?
yes.
Yeah, but
And
as a general
last
rule,
thing,
it's good to be polite whenever possible, as a general rule.
and the last thing that when you speak about the accent, I'm glad to see your words. It doesn't matter about my accent. This is my own accent.
That's right. That's your color, right? And I always use the example of a box of crayons, right? When kids buy a box of crayons for coloring, they don't buy a box of all black crayons and they don't buy a box of all white crayons or all gray crayons. They want a box that has all the colors, right? So that they can draw pretty pictures with them, right? But your accent is your color. But maybe I want you to write something. I want you to write, maybe I want you to draw a smiley face, but I want you to make a very small smiley face. Okay? If your crayon is not sharp, you cannot do it clearly very small. So what do you need to do? You need to sharpen your crayon so that you can draw more clearly in a small way, a detailed way. That's the way you should think about your accent. You do not need to lose your accent, but you might need to clarify it to make it more clear, right? Sharpen it. So that's when you need to think about certain words that you say. If there are certain words you say that are not clear, that maybe someone, when they hear you, they go, huh? Yeah, what was that? That's a word you need to work on. That's a word you need to sharpen and clarify, okay? Make it more clear. That's all, okay? And honestly, I don't think anyone needs to have perfection of accent to be considered to have great language, okay?
but we have to say clear words.
That's exactly right. That's all you need is clarity. Okay, language is not about perfection. Language is about communication and expression of ideas.
But there is a problem with some words. When I try to sing one more time, more than one time, it doesn't work with my.
Can you give me
How can I
an
say it?
example?
Like the words that have has R letters.
Yeah, the R is a very common word or common sound that's difficult for Arabic speakers to do well because the Arabic R sounds different. It's very similar sounding to the Spanish R, the Arabic R. So when I say the word shukran, I use that kra, not kra. I don't say shukran. I say shukran, right?
You mean the sound of letter.
That's right. So I change the way I do my R when I speak Arabic. I don't use an American R. I use the Arabic R sound. Okay. I try to use the Arabic R sound as closely as I can. Right. And again, I'm doing my best to make sure it's as close to you as possible, as close to the Arabic sound as possible. But I know it's not going to be perfect, and I don't care. I only care if you understand the word I said. Do you know that I was trying to say thank
That's
you?
point.
You know, that's all I was trying to say is shukran. Oh, you know what that is. You know I'm saying thank you. Okay? And of course, again, you need to think about language is just like learning a musical instrument. And when you learn a musical instrument, you're never finished. You are never good enough. You will always try to improve to be more musical every day of your life. And that's true with language too. You can always continue to try to improve it, but you must remember that the point is to make music, not to make copies of someone else's music. Make your music. Your music, not a copy of someone else's music. Okay?
Okay, the last thing. Can you judge on my accent or words that I say it the way?
You sound fine. Your accent is not a problem. You need to work more on your grammar because you just need to be more comfortable with English sentence structure, right? when you speak with English, there's a difference in the sentence structure compared to Arabic. And so every once in a while, I can hear that you're using more of an Arabic grammar with English words, but that will work. That will get better the more you practice. Okay, reading would be really good for you because the more you read in English, you'll see how we use our English grammar more comfortably, and then that will start to go into your mind, and you'll feel like you understand how to use it better. But I understand everything you're saying. I don't have any problem listening to you. And the other thing I'll tell you, Highness, is that, again, you need to remember that the best kind of practice you can do is mental practice of your language, okay? Every musician can make music in their mind. They don't need to play the instrument. They can hear it in their mind. You can do the same with language, right? And if you learn how to think in English, then you can practice the language all day. When you go to the store, don't think in Arabic, think in English, and that's practice. When you watch TV or go to a movie, don't think in Arabic, try to think in English. That's practice. When you're cooking dinner, don't think in Arabic, try to think in English. So the reason why this is so important is because, well, two reasons. One is because if you're trying to learn a language and you're only studying that language for 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, practicing your writing and your reading and your listening and your speaking, okay, that's great. But 2 hours a day is still going to take you a long time to learn how to do that language well. A very long time. But if you do 2 hours a day of writing, reading, listening, and speaking, plus you do 2 hours a day of thinking, or 3 hours a day of thinking, or 5 hours a day of thinking, because you can think all day. I'm not asking you to change your life at all. I'm asking you to live your life with English.
Okay, thanks.
Understand?
Thanks a lot for all your advice.
You're
I
welcome.
will work about this.
And the more you think in English, the more comfortable English will be. You'll feel like it's ready to use, and you'll feel comfortable, and then you won't say as much. You'll feel like the language is always up here and it's ready to go. But if you're never thinking in English, then it's kind of like you put your English into a box and you put it in the closet and you close the door. And then when you need to use it, you have to get it out and you have to dust it off, and it's not very ready, right? But if you're always trying to use it in your mind, then when you need to speak it, it's there and it's ready. Okay?
You're right. Thanks.
Okay? Well,
Thanks a lot for
you're welcome.
making me the mic.
You're welcome. No problem. And by the way, you're in Saudi Arabia, and where? Are you in Riyadh or Mecca or where?
In Riyadh.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on my stage. Make sure you follow and come back and see me again, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ali says, someone sent me a message to join a group chat. Should I join? Well, the truth is, I get messages to join group chats all the time, and I never join any of them. For one simple reason. For me, I'm too busy. But there is a second reason. I'm not going to join your chat if you didn't message me to introduce yourself first. If you want me to talk to you, introduce yourself. That is the number one problem on Hello Talk. It's the number one problem on Hello Talk. You try to talk to people before you introduce yourself. No. It's like people have lost the art of introducing themselves. You must introduce yourself to a person if you want to interact with them. So if you send me a message for a group chat, but you didn't say, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm from blah, blah, blah. I really like your blah, blah, blah. Would you be willing to join my group chat? If you do that, maybe I'll join. But if you just send me a message to join your group chat, nope, sorry. I'm not joining anything. You didn't introduce yourself. Introductions are such a critical and important part of life. If you want things to go well for you, learn how to introduce yourself. Okay? It's the number one problem on Hello Talk. If you come into my live stream and you say, the first thing you say is, "Can I talk to you? Can I come on your stage?" No. No, you cannot. I don't know you. I don't know you. But if you introduce yourself to me first and you say, "Hello, my name is Joseph from Senegal. How are you doing?" "Thank you, Joseph." That's a simple introduction. I'll talk to you now. If you don't introduce yourself, don't expect anyone to reply. Let me say that again. If you don't introduce yourself, don't expect anyone to reply to you. Okay? Do you understand? All right? That's as simple as it gets. All right? Am I going to play music today? I'm not sure. I don't think I have time for that today, Alex. But I really appreciate the fact that you always ask that, Alex. I appreciate the fact that you know that music is important to me, and you know that I love music, and so you try to, ask about it. And that's important to me because it shows that you're not just here for yourself, that you're here for me too. So that does mean a lot to me. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad that you like to watch me play music, or that you at least appreciate that it's important to me. Okay? Rapid, how can you understand phrasal verbs by seeing them the first time? You usually can't. Phrasal verbs are improvised language. And improvised language has no rules. There are no rules in improvised language. So that's why phrasal verbs are difficult. So when you see a phrasal verb, you should try to look up the meaning and, more importantly, type in that phrasal verb and then say example sentences, right? So look up the phrasal verb online and search for example sentences so you can see how other people have used it. When you read 10 sentences that use that phrasal verb, then you'll start to understand how it's used properly. Okay? All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any comments or questions here. Odie, am I tired? Maybe a little bit. I'm tired every day. Hazim, thank you very much for your compliment. I appreciate that. Odie, did you go to bed already? I bet you probably did. And I wish you a good night, my friend. And hello, Fatima. Thank you, Zakaria. If I'm too busy with my work and my work doesn't use English, how can I improve my English for IELTS? Fika, what is your work? What kind of work do you do? And thank you, Hisham. Hello, Hussein. Should I focus on improving your English and resign? Well, I don't think you want to do that. What job do you do, Fika? Hello, Elizaveta. I am a native speaker. Hello, Tinzin. Thank you, Azim. I seem rather energetic. I try to be. If you're a teacher, you should be. Nobody wants to learn from a boring teacher. Would it be better if I sound like this? Okay, everyone. Today we're going to talk about phrasal verbs. No, nobody wants to learn from that guy. Okay? How can you handle disruptive students? How do you get them not to talk and misbehave? Well, Hossein, first thing that I usually do is, well, let me ask you, how old are they, Hossein? How old are they? What age? That's a difficult age. But step one in any classroom is the first thing I teach my students is that when I walk in the room, if I put my hand up like this, you're quiet. This means quiet. Okay, so as soon as I go into the room, I put my hand up like this when I'm ready to start. And if people are not quiet, then you're in trouble. And yeah, the first few times you might have to punish someone. Okay, so here's what you can do. If they're continuing to talk, then everybody else will be seated and you can have them stand up until you tell them to sit. Okay, so walk into the room, put your hand up like this. Make sure they know, you teach them, tell them, when I put my hand up like this, you're quiet, I'm ready to teach now. That's how it works. And if you don't, then you will stand until you're ready to be quiet. Okay? That's a simple punishment that you can do, is just say, my hand is up, it's time to start. If you're not quiet, then you have to stand up until I tell you to sit. Okay? It's not cruel, but it is embarrassing for them. They don't want to be standing up while everybody else is sitting. Okay? And if they continue, then you say, okay, maybe you need 10 minutes outside. Or maybe you need an extra homework assignment. Would that be, I think that you're so excited about my class that you don't stop talking. So maybe you must be so excited that you want some more homework. So you can have some worksheets, right? Maybe some grammar worksheets. All right? And you could say, okay, I could tell you're so excited that you keep talking in my class. I think that you must really want to do one of these worksheets. Because if you're talking, then you get worksheets when you're talking. Okay? You do have to establish that you're the one in control. Okay? And there are simple ways that you can do that. But the first way is just teach them that this means quiet. Okay? Okay, they're spoiled brats. Well, again, spoiled brats need to be brought down. They need to learn that you're the one in control and they are not. And we can have a good class where everybody is learning, or we can have a class where you get extra homework because you're not learning and you're ruining the learning for everyone else. Okay? Their responsibility is to be quiet so that everyone can learn. And if they are disrupting the class, then you must tell them, okay, sometimes you also have to say, maybe we need to have a talk with your parents. Maybe we need to have a talk with your parents. Okay? Now, sometimes that doesn't even scare them, because to be honest with you, usually the spoiled brats, they're spoiled because their parents don't have any control over them either. It's sad, but it's true. Every teacher that teaches your kids, they're teaching whatever subject they're teaching, right? So if I'm an English teacher, I teach English. But do you know what part of my job is? Part of my job as an English teacher is parenting. Sometimes I'm teaching their kids things they should have learned at home. It's sad, but it's true. Okay? Many times I yell at them. Who? I yell at people who don't introduce themselves? Yeah, I do. Same thing. It's the same thing. If you're in my class and you don't know the rules, then yeah, I might yell at you. Yeah, psychology is always important in a classroom with children. Well, even with adults, but especially with children, psychology is important. Maher, I see your question. Please be patient. There are a bunch of people here. I will answer your question, but you must wait. Okay? Don't just write your question a bunch of times, please. Okay? Be patient. I'll answer in a few minutes. Okay? The thing is, sometimes they bring their parents to school telling you you've been hard on them. well, then tell the parents, yeah, I am hard on them. That's my job. My job is to be hard on them. My job is not to be respectful to them. Their job is to be respectful to me. They're the student, I'm the teacher. That's how it works. If they cannot be respectful in my room, then that's a problem. Okay? It's not an equal set of rules. No, it's not equal. Student here, teacher here. Not this. No. It's not how it works. Okay? And hello, ni hao. Okay, so Maher, your question is there a scientific and literary branch in English? Of course there is. There are scientific words that you can learn about biology and chemistry and physics and astronomy. Those are scientific words. So that's a scientific branch of English. And a literary branch, of course there is. That's what literature is. Anything that is written is literature, right? So Shakespeare is literature. Chaucer is literature. Mark Twain is literature. That's the literary branch of English. Okay? There is a scientific and literary branch of every language. Every language. Okay? Okay, let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any other comments or questions. Hello, Temoto. Okay, be patient. If you want to talk to me, be patient. Okay, listen. Hossein, when I teach, most of my students love my class. Okay? I think most of my students enjoy learning from me. So if there's a student who doesn't enjoy learning from me, it's usually not because of me, it's because they're not showing up for the same reason that everyone else is, right? They're showing up because they are forced to be there and they don't want to be there. But that's because they don't understand that learning is their personal responsibility. And that's the only thing they should be focused on in that room. As soon as you put your hand up, it's not friends time, it's learning time. Okay? And look, I think I'm a nice guy. I think I'm a friendly guy, but I will shut you down when I need to. I am not afraid to be firm. Okay? So I am a friendly guy. I'm a funny guy. I like to have fun. I joke around with my students in class often. But when I need to make a point that I'm the teacher and you're the student, I will. Okay? Sometimes you need to shut them down, man. Shut it down. And occasionally that means using embarrassment as a tool. Not often, but occasionally. I don't want to use embarrassment all the time as a tool, but occasionally it works. So, like I said, you put your hand up. If they're not listening, then, okay, we're going to keep going, and he's going to stand up until I tell him to. And if not, then you're gone. You go to the principal's office and let the principal deal with it. Okay, there should be someone that they get sent to, right? You get a detention, you go to, this room, or you get in trouble, you go to the principal. Okay? Your job is not to babysit. Your job is to teach. If they make you feel like a babysitter, then you should remove them. And you should tell the parents that same thing. I'm a teacher, not a babysitter. If your child is not going to act properly in my class, then I'm going to have to punish them or remove them, because my job is to teach. And if they get in the way of my job, then that's a problem. If they show up and they're ready to learn, then we have no problem. Okay? It can, occasionally you have to be the bad guy. You can't always be the good guy. All right? Okay, Tracy from China, are you still there? Do you still want to talk to me? One of them swore in class. Well, that's an immediate, yeah, you're gone. If you use bad language in my class to me, you are gone. And you go to the principal. Yeah, you get suspended. Fine. Do it again. If he does it again, do it again. Sometimes they have to learn the hard way. Okay? My live streams usually open around 9 or 9:30 a.m. New York City time. 9 or 9:30 a.m. New York City time. Okay? Okay, hello, Ronnie. Thank you, Najati. Hello. Kicking them out of class? No, I don't think that's too old school. I think that should be the last resort. That should be the last thing that you try to do. Shouldn't do it right away. But if they continue to disrupt your class and they continue to disrespect your rules and your authority, then yeah, kick them out until they're ready to follow your authority. And make it worse for them. So you can't just kick them out into the hallway and make them do nothing. You know, you have to say, okay, you go in the hallway and you have to do this assignment. Okay, like a boring grammar assignment. Give them something boring to do and tell them you have a choice. You can come in my classroom and be quiet and pay attention and follow my rules, or you can come out here and do this. And every single time that you do this, I'm going to do the same thing. You are not going to win in this game. Okay? Smile when you say that. Look at them and say, this is not going to end well for you. I'll be fine. Eventually, they'll realize that you're right. Okay? All right. Let's see. Tracy. Okay, let's talk to Tracy. And there's Tracy. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Here, I'll turn the camera off for you. There, the camera is off.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you?
Hello, Mark. First of all, I want to. Every time I came to your live stream, I can learn something useful. Like today, you said something about making creative sentence, which I have never heard before. So I think, like one time you also mentioned, today you mentioned it again, you said to use your brain all the time instead of just focus on your listening, speaking,
That's
and
right.
writing, etc. I mean, so that is a very useful tool, and I taught my students as well.
It's
In
true.
class, I think that's very.
It's crazy that we teach people language, but we never talk about thinking. It's so weird. No books. There are no books that teach language that tell you anything about using the language in your mind. They don't. And when they do that, if you're learning a second language, and it's not what you're learning from being a baby, right? You're learning as an adult or as a child, you know, maybe 15, 14, 13 years old. If you're learning it later on in life, the natural thing to do is to use your native language and translate everything. So that's why it fails. Tracy, when I was in high school, I learned German for 3 years, and I can't remember most of it. And the reason why is because they taught us about reading and writing and listening and speaking, but they never mentioned anything about thinking. They didn't tell me that when I learn Guten Tag, which means hello, you should walk around the rest of the day in your mind looking at people saying Guten Tag, Guten Tag, Guten Tag. Whatever you learn in class, you need to put it in your mind and try to find a way to use it, or it's not going to
Yeah.
stay.
I absolutely agree, because I think this works very well for everyone because you can practice your English, the language you're learning every day, every minute.
That's right.
Like,
That's right. Yeah. So I
you know,
I live in the United States, and I can't practice Chinese very easily here, but I think in Chinese as often as I can when I'm watching TV or when I'm cooking dinner or when I'm going to the store. I can 这个东西就是好贵了，为什么？这个就是买完了，为什么？ Whatever. I just think simple things in Chinese, and it's keeping my Chinese fresh.
so can you conduct conversation in Chinese with me? Simple Chinese
I probably
conversation.
could, yeah. I probably could. I mean, this is an English class, so I don't do that too often here because nobody else will understand unless just the Chinese people will understand. But I could, ask you a simple question like 你喜欢吃什么食物？什么国家的食物？
因为我还没有出过国，所以我觉得我应该最喜欢吃中国的食物吧。
Okay. So she said that she hasn't tried too many other foods, but she really just likes Chinese food. She eats Chinese food most of the time, right?
Yeah. I said I've never been abroad.
That's right. So there you go. That's, like I said, I don't get to practice my Chinese very often, but because I think in Chinese as often as I can, it keeps it relatively fresh. And the only thing that makes it weird is because I'm not familiar with the way local Chinese people would use it in their native language. The way they speak it might be differently than the way I use it, right? But the vocabulary is the same and the grammar is close enough that whatever I say, you'll understand it. So it might not be the exact way a Chinese person would say it, but it's close enough that you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I also found that you seem to speak a little bit faster than you used to be when you are live streaming. Like,
Well,
that-
it depends
is that right?
on, yeah, sometimes. It depends on my mood. It depends on what subject we're talking about. And it depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to someone who has better English.
No, I mean, when you are just reading the comment or answering questions, in the past you were speaking very slowly. So if you speak in this kind of speed, maybe I would much more like to watch your video or watch your live stream because I think in the past it's maybe too simple, a little bit too simple for your speed.
Well, that's
one of
because
the reasons.
many people are still learning. So there are.
I know.
I often get comments that, "Can you speak more slowly? Can you speak more slowly?" Even when I already am. Okay. So when I teach, I usually try to speak at about this speed right here. Right? Not
like
too
this.
slow, but not too fast. And for most people, for most learners, this speed should be good for most people. But yes, Tracy, if you join my voice rooms, I usually speak a bit faster. And the reason why is because I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can from as many people as I can. So I'm trying to get one person on the stage and answer their questions, and the next person answer their questions, and the next
I
person.
see.
So I think my voice rooms, I tend to speak faster because there's less time, and I'm trying to get as many questions as I possibly can. But I also listen to who I'm talking to, and I judge their level, and then I use a speed that matches the level that I think they're at.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah,
And there's one
go ahead.
thing I'm quite surprised that because I have followed you before, but today the Hello Talk reminded me I should follow you. I think that is a little bit strange. And this happened to me. Like I have followed another guy before, and tonight I went to see his live stream as well. And the Hello Talk also reminded me that I should follow him. I don't know what happened. What is
That might
is
just
there any
be
bug?
that might just be a glitch. You know, that happens sometimes with the app. Like almost, well, not every time, but many times when I start a live stream or a voice room, sometimes it reminds me to follow the rules. And when they do that, I have to message them and I have to ask them, wait a minute, did I break a rule or something? Why are you reminding me of the rules? Did I do something wrong? And they said, no, that just happens sometimes. It reminds you sometimes. So I think that just could be kind of a glitch in the system where you're already following me, but they're reminding you to follow me again. You know, I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean that you're not following me anymore. I think it's just maybe an inefficiency in their system. Okay.
I see.
Yeah.
Today I enter one. I keep jumping from here there. So I saw one people's voice room and it says Happy Leap Day. What does leap mean? LEAP.
Yeah. So the way the standard calendar works in the West.
Is this creative?
No. The way the calendar works in the West, it's not an even calendar. The way it works, we have to add a few days.
I got it.
That's a leap day. Yeah. So
I got it.
that's what Happy Leap
Just for
Day
today.
means. That's right.
Just for today.
That's exactly right. Just for today.
I
And it
see.
doesn't happen often.
I didn't realize it was 29th.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was 29th.
Yep.
You know, today I thought it was March the 1st. I went to a place in the campus to change my menu for my phone because I want to change to another kind. And they told me, I found later on that guy told me it was still the end of the month and
Right.
I don't need to change it and I have to wait until tomorrow. So I didn't realize
That's it.
it is.
Yep. It's a leap day.
It is.
Yep. Usually
yeah.
there are only 28 days in
Can I ask
February.
you?
But yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's a gift day for me because these days I'm quite busy. I have so many work to do, and later on I found out I had one extra day, which makes me very happy today.
Well, there you go. It's free time.
Okay. Yeah, it's one more day for me.
That's right.
And I want to ask you one more question. Can I?
Sure.
Then, what is the once I gave 3 words to the students, and they because I have read about that translation in a book, and they say if you just now you mentioned the word principle, principle mean just like we for the primary school we have the headmaster. And so headmaster is the same to
Yeah.
principal.
Yeah.
And
Headmaster is
also
more the British
president.
word.
British word.
Yeah, it's the
So
word they use in the
how do you
UK.
say the headmaster in America?
Principal. Yeah.
Principal.
Yeah,
I
the
see.
principal.
No,
And-
I thought principal is reserved for middle school, so
No.
it is not the case.
No. There's a principal for elementary school, there's a principal for middle school, and there's a principal for high school.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Headmaster,
what about president? President is only for
well, let me say about headmaster first. Headmaster is usually used only in British or UK schools, or maybe it's used in America, but only in private schools that are very expensive. like rich private schools. They might have a headmaster and not a principal. Okay?
Oh,
And
so
then,
you mean public school?
yeah, public school is always a
They
principal.
were. Oh,
Yeah, we have a
I
principal
see.
and a vice principal. Yeah.
Oh,
And then president. President is a word in educational institutions that's almost always only in a university.
so both in UK or the US, we
I
have
think so.
president.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not entirely sure about the UK, but I know for sure here. I would guess it's the same in the UK.
And I also, because I taught, there was one book. It says, public school, private school. If you say that in British English or in American English, that means the opposite. Is there such a saying?
What means the opposite?
So they mean private school, public school, they were, I mean, like they were what public school means in America means the opposite.
Of private
Like
school.
private school in British. Is that
Oh, no, I don't believe so. No, not as far as I know. I'm pretty sure in the UK, public school and private school mean the same thing. Those are private institutions that you have to pay extra money if you want your child to go there. Okay, maybe you want a better school, so you go to this private school. Okay, but yeah, in America, that's definitely how it is. Public school means it's paid for by the government, and it's free. But a private school, like for example, my brother went to a private school. I went to a public school. So they had to pay extra money for him to go to that school. It was a nicer school. It was a Jesuit high school that's Christian, and so they teach different things, and they have more money because the kids all have to pay for there, so they have better facilities and a better, maybe more opportunities because of that. Okay, and some people, if you have the money, then you'll pay for your kids to go to a private school. Okay. And that's right. Your parents have to pay taxes to go to a public school, but yeah. But actually, even if they didn't pay taxes, they still can go to a public school. But and then yes, people mentioned the word dean and chancellor. That those are also other words that are often used, usually only in universities here. So the dean of the university or the president of the university, or they might have a dean and a president of the university. Chancellor is another term. These mean, they all mean pretty much the same thing. They're just titles of authority. That's all they are. Okay. So some places might use the term dean. Some places might use the term chancellor. Some places might use the term president, or they might have one of each. It just depends on how they run their university.
But Mark, so you think university president? I think president refers to the head of the entire university.
It does.
While the university, like dean, chancellor could mean the head of a department, right?
Well, in America, no. Chancellor is not commonly used here. That's more of a British term. And you might be correct about that in UK schools. But again, I'm American. I don't know about that. So that could be. But dean, you're right. Dean is usually the head of the department, the dean of the school of science, the dean of the school of math, the dean of the school of music. But it's basically, it's like they're the head of that department. It's still it's a term of authority, right? So the president is the president of the entire university, and you're right. The dean is usually the head of that school, that separate department.
Yeah. Branch.
Branch, correct. Right.
Thank you so much.
You've got it.
Mark.
But don't get too worried about those terms because really, I don't put much stock in those terms. Those are, like I said, those are just titles that make people feel like I'm the dean of the university. Yeah, you're in charge. Okay. But it's like when you give somebody a title, it makes them feel like they're special. And so, that's the way I look at those terms.
Yeah.
But just do the job. I don't care what your term is. Just as long as you're doing the job, that's all that matters to me. And again, sometimes everyone, you have to remember, sometimes I may not know the answers for the way things work in the UK. I've never been to the UK myself, and I know plenty of British people, but I don't know enough about the UK to always have the answers about how they do things there. So that's why I always tell people, I may not be correct about the UK. I don't know how they do things there. I only know how things work here. Okay?
And one more question.
Okay.
Hi.
Final question.
And also about the difference between they say billion means different in British English and American English, like somewhat like billion means I don't know. So
I've never
in my
heard
mind,
that before.
million is 1 plus 6 8
yes.
9 O's, right? That is in my mind.
For
1
billion or
billion.
million? Yeah, that's billion. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But they say billion in British English means some other number, which makes me quite confused. Is that right?
Let me take a look. Let's see. To the British, including the Empire and the Commonwealth, billion has long meant a million millions, or 10 to the 12th. Yeah, I guess it is different. I actually did not know that. I did not know that until right now. Yeah, apparently a billion means a different number in UK. See, that's weird. Why? I wonder. So hold on. There's an article here about that. It was to avoid this ambiguity that scientists, technical writers, and others, they came to avoid the words altogether and referred to 1,000 millions or a million millions when using numerals. Okay, so, but gradually, however, the American version began to predominate. So they did do it that way, but now the American version of the word billion is apparently the dominant one that people refer to. So let's see. It was the difference was noted first in 1926, and then in the second edition in 1965. In 1965, there was a book that said, "It's a pity that we, the British, do not conform." So even they thought that they should conform to the way that we do it. And then in 1996, it said, the third observes that since 1951, the American usage has been increasing in Britain and in technical writing and in journalism, but that the older sense is still common. So I think that's another one of those situations where maybe the younger people use the American form of billion, but perhaps some older people still use
because I once asked a British guy about it and he didn't know either. So
well, there you go.
I think
right.
that is quite strange.
That's right. Well, it's like the word schedule. The traditional way that the British say the word schedule is schedule, but many younger people have been switching to schedule now and not schedule. That's my understanding. So,
I thought all British say it that way.
I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of younger people who are now saying it with the K sound, which is, by the way, the correct way. Because if you look at the etymology of that word, it comes from a Greek word, skedis, that has an SK sound. So it definitely originally was k. And there is no etymology. There's no etymology that shows sh ever in the history of that word. I think they just preferred it that way. I think that it just became
Yeah,
commonly
just
said.
because it is a SH sound.
It's spelled.
SH
It's spelled that
combination.
way. That's right. You see the SCH and you think, oh, it must be sh, but no. That's just the spelling. Just like many words in English, the spelling does not always reflect the pronunciation correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Tracy. No problem.
You
And
answer me all my questions.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Well, no, you taught me a few
You
things
are-
too, because I didn't know about the billion difference between American English and British English until just now.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Well, Tracy, thank you for coming, and I will see you next time then, okay?
Okay. See you. Bye bye.
Take care.
everyone. Bye bye.
That's right. School is S-K-O, the sound is S-K-O-O-L, right? Not shul, right? But that one is actually a little funny, Hanchao, because the origin of the word school comes from the German word Schule. So that's one that possibly our pronunciation of the K is actually kind of incorrect. Well, but again, that's the nature of language. Sometimes language is, it mutates by agreed upon pronunciation, right? So schedule is pronounced that way because most people started saying it that way. You know, like probably it was all because of Sean Connery. Sean Connery, who everything is with Sean Connery. And he became so famous. Maybe it was just an affectation of popularity. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, hey everybody, I've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes and it's 12:20 and I need to take a break and have some lunch. So please make sure you go to my YouTube channel and follow my YouTube channel right there. Watch my YouTube videos, share my YouTube videos, leave comments, please. This is a job. This is a job and it's one I try to do well. So you have to support me with that, all right? You have to do those simple little things like sharing and like commenting and liking. And yeah, those are simple things that you can do. I've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes answering questions. It's not a lot for me to ask you to do a simple thing. Follow my YouTube, like my YouTube, leave comments on my YouTube. Okay? That's vital, critical, highly, highly important to my success. Okay? I'm not going to have a voice room today, Islam. No voice room today. Maybe one tomorrow. Okay? Usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when I'm going to be doing my voice rooms. Okay? And let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any final little comments or questions. And yes, Hossein, you're right. You have to lay down some rules before you ever get buddy-buddy with your students. And yes, you should never get too close to them because if you do, you're blurring the lines between student and teacher, and then they don't know better. They're children. They're children still, and they will cross that line. They'll cross it because they think it's okay. So you have to make sure you establish that there is a line and they cannot cross it. So you're absolutely right. You need to lay down the rules in the beginning and make sure they understand you're the teacher, they're the student. Not even, not equal. Okay? All right. Hello, everyone. I speak very fast. Well, sometimes I speak fast, Elena. Sometimes I speak at this speed. It depends on who I'm talking to. Okay, Elena? Hello, Alyssa. Okay. What will I eat today? I don't know. I actually think I need to go to the store to get some food because we don't have a lot to eat here today. So I think I'm going to go to the store and get some food, do some shopping. Islam, I'm not going to play any drums today. There's no time. I'm tired. I'm hungry. It's been 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm going to take a break for a bit. Is teaching a hard job? Yeah. Yeah, teaching is a very hard job, in my opinion. If you do it well, if you care about teaching, then yeah, it's not an easy job. No. Can I continue talking fast? Wilmy, watch me regularly. Sometimes I speak faster. Sometimes I speak slower. I'm trying to accommodate everyone. Okay? Is it worth the effort? Any job that you care about is worth the effort. I don't teach for the money. I teach because I'm passionate about it. Okay? Teaching is not a job that anyone should do for the money. Everybody who does teaching does it because they feel that that's what they should do. It's their calling. Okay? It's like being a musician. No one has ever decided to become a musician for the money. You do music because you love music. You teach because you love teaching. Okay? Okay, so yes, hello, Kareem and Bodarbala. Nice to meet you there in my YouTube channel. Thank you for following. And yeah, again, thank you guys for following and participating and watching. Come back and see me again tomorrow. I will have a live stream tomorrow and probably a voice room also. Islam Muhammad is my friend in Egypt. He's printing. That's my my YouTube channel there. He put in my chat. You can follow right there. Okay. So again, I will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. And don't forget to be a language warrior. You're not allowed to be shy. No. You are not allowed to be shy if you want to learn a language. Shyness and language learning don't mix. So put away your shyness. Put it away. It's not helping you. Okay? All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.